development of other cutting-edge technology. President Trump says the pact already starting to pay off.
This new accord is already helping spur a massive wave of private sector deals worth over $350 billion alone, headlined by a $136 billion from Blackstone.
The president speaking on the second and final day of his historic state visit to England, joined by Prime Minister Starmer at a news conference. Working its way through the Republican-led House, a resolution honoring the late Charlie Kirk and a measure having to do with money issues.
Lawmakers voted in favor of advancing the measure and a bill to avert a government shutdown in a joint mechanism known as a rule vote. The rule was adopted in a 216 to 210 vote along party lines. Republican Thomas Mass of Kentucky, known for opposing the federal funding bill, was the lone lawmaker from either side to vote present. Mass explained that he vehemently supports the Kirk resolution, but opposed an unrelated provision in the rule that blocks Congress's ability from weighing in on tariff policy. Bernie Bennett in Washington.
An investigation underway into a deadly shooting in York County, Pennsylvania. 3 police officers fatally shot, 2 others wounded. They're in the hospital. The gunman was shot dead by police. All of this happened yesterday afternoon. The officers arrived at a home to serve a warrant in a domestic-related case. President Trump on social media congratulating ABC for showing the courage to indefinitely shelve Jimmy Kimmel's late-night show over remarks that Kimmel made about Charlie Kirk's assassination. The comments had some prominent station groups threatening to drop the show altogether. On Wall Street, ahead of this morning's opening bell, the Dow futures up 183 points. NASDAQ futures ahead 267. More on these stories at townhall.com.
The following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
My debt problem started probably about 2016. I needed my life to change financially. I called Trinity, and I ended up joining based on high credit card bills and high interest rate. And my counselor at Trinity has been great, and Trinity has been helping me to get on the right path of paying off these credit card bills, bringing down the interest rate. They have consolidated my bills into one low monthly payment. And now I am finally getting out of credit card debt. So I just want to say thank you, Trinity, for showing me a better and greater path.
If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Sharon, and soon I will be debt-free for keeps.
1-800-990-6976.
Israeli troops and tanks pushing deeper into Gaza City as more people run for their lives.
Witnesses described dozens of Israeli tanks and armored vehicles pushing into the northern neighborhood of Sheikh Radwan, suggesting this could become a route for ground forces to head into the heart of Gaza City, which Israel says is a stronghold of Hamas. Hundreds of thousands of Palestinians remain in the city, although there's been a constant stream heading south. Looking to the future, the far-right Israeli minister Bezalel Smotrich told a Tel Aviv conference that Gaza could be a real estate bonanza, adding that he was discussing with the Trump administration how to share the proceeds.
The BBC's Yolande Nell. British, Lithuanian, and Latvian authorities have detained individuals suspected of spying for Russia. The Metropolitan Police arrested 3 people earlier today near London, while Lithuanian prosecutors uncovered a Russia-linked network planning arson attacks across Europe. Townhall.com. Ukraine expects to soon have a $3.5 billion bank account to buy weapons from the U.S.
The fund is known as the Prioritized Ukraine Requirements List. It pools contributions from NATO members, excluding the U.S., to purchase American weapons. President Volodymyr Zelensky mentioned that the first shipments will include missiles for Patriot air defense systems and munitions for rocket launchers. A U.S.-Ukraine fund to boost investments in Ukraine's mineral sector is also set to launch with $150 million. This fund aims to spur reconstruction and military aid. John Scott reporting.
Starbucks workers taking the coffee giant to court, saying it violated the law when it changed its dress code, but refused to reimburse employees who had to buy new clothing. The employees, backed by the union organizing Starbucks employees. Townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil witch and what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican world radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Thursday, everybody.
Yeah, this week has flown by. It has been like the shortest long week ever.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of crazily fast.
Mm-hmm.
And the weather's been nice for the most part all week.
It's been pretty nice.
Yeah.
Pretty fantastic outside.
Just kind of zipping through. You know, yeah, tomorrow's Friday, another big football Friday.
Yep.
Roswell, Goddard, and Artesia in action tomorrow night. We'll have all three ball games for you. Roswell right here on 106.5, Goddard in Lovington on 106.1 La Pantera, and Artesia on 990 AM KSVP. So
yes, sir.
We got it all. And then, of course, live streaming video, KSVPTV.com. So all of it's there. We'll have it. So, and kind of crazy.
And I feel like this is kind of the come down weekend too, because like last weekend was like everything was going on.
Yeah, air races and just
Red
a
Dirt,
lot.
Black Gold, Piñata Fest.
Yeah.
And yes, we've got, obviously we're smack dab in the middle of the busy season, but I feel like this is the eye of the storm. It's like, there's a cow floating over there somewhere.
Yeah, we're another week away from fair.
Right here, we're chill.
Yeah, this weekend everyone's like, all right, this is my last weekend to kind of do family stuff or whatever before we got to fair stuff the next weekend and everything else. So,
and also the last official weekend of summer.
Is it official?
Well, because September 22nd is the last day of summer.
Gotcha.
First day of, technically September 22nd is the autumnal equinox.
All right. Well, speaking of last day, I did get a release from the city yesterday. September 30th is the last day of operation for the splash pads for the
year
swimming season, I guess you could say.
Which that feels long. Like I feel like usually they
around Memorial or Labor Day.
Well, they shut everything down around Labor Day. Like the pools closes that they have their last day on Labor Day. And so the splash pads staying open, and I think a lot of that might have to do with their late open.
Sure, there was
this summer because of the repairs and all that.
And plus, it's nice.
Yeah,
I mean the weather's nice, and
but that's the thing.
It's gonna be 90s this weekend.
I've been outside, and it really hasn't like dictated. I need to go cool down at the splash pad. I mean, at this point, you're doing it purely for the for the thrills.
Right. Well, from a kid's perspective, I would be like, because I mean, even when it was cold out, you're like, I still kind of want to get in the water.
Right. My son will be standing there just with his arms crossed, freezing, but yet he doesn't want to come out of the water. He still wants to play.
That's just the id of a kid, you know what I mean?
That's why they call them kids. It's literally just id, K attached.
So
Kinder id.
I get it, because I was that kid. I'm like, it's cold. It's supposed to. No, I don't want to. I'm done. I'm not done yet.
Yeah, boy, it was glorious before that prefrontal cortex came along, wasn't it? Before you had the decision-making ability to have cognitive common sense.
Right.
God, those were the days.
But I get it. So yeah, September 30th. So you got another week or so.
Couple of days.
Yeah.
My kids will be very excited to hear that. Actually.
Yeah. I figured they would. They do. And you know what? It's supposed to be like 90 something on Sunday.
Yeah, if it's in the 90s, that feels splash pad appropriate.
Yeah, what's Sunday? Tomorrow's not 89, and they have 94 on Sunday. So.
Okay, well,
93 on Monday.
Looks like my Sunday is booked.
Well, you're such a big Packers fan, I know.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I have to continue not watching for them to succeed.
This is true.
I can't pinpoint it, but I guarantee if I tune in, I'm going to tune in one time this season just to see what happens.
Well, you should have tuned in last week then, dang it.
No, sorry.
Thursday night.
Yeah, I bet. I'm gonna pick my spots. I think actually I might tune in for the let's see. Who are we pretty guaranteed to lose against?
I don't know, man. They're pretty good right now. They're the team to beat at the moment.
Pretty good. I was gonna say I'll tune in on the Minnesota week.
Okay.
Minnesota or Chicago. Those are kind of my two.
Both those teams their quarterbacks are not performing up to par in both Minnesota and in Chicago right now. So they're having issues.
Mm-hmm.
So no joy in those Mudvilles at the moment.
Well, that's good to know.
Kind of like in Washington, Jaden Daniels is hurt. He's questionable for Sunday. So everyone's losing their mind. Is he going to play? He's not going to play? I don't know. He's not going to practice till Friday. We'll know then more Friday. Yeah, people are. And then there's people like, we shouldn't even play him against the Raiders. And it's like, he's an NFL quarterback. If he's healthy, you play him. That's how this works. He earns millions of dollars to do this.
Mm-hmm.
If he's healthy, you play him. Everyone's like, I don't want to take him out of the box. I'm going to put him on the shelf and look at him.
And you know what? I've never understood that mindset. Those are the ones you really have to be worried about.
Right.
Like in the collector's world. If you can, and yes, a lot of them will say, oh, I buy one to use and one to display. I don't have that kind of, scratch. If I'm going to have a hobby, I get the one.
Right.
But I can never understand somebody who just doesn't utilize their collectibles.
Yeah, I never was a serious collector of anything. Like when I collected things, it was just things that I liked.
Well, yeah,
I didn't think of it as a value per se.
Here's the biggest problem with me is the stuff that I assume is going to have value.
Yeah,
probably isn't.
Yeah.
The one thing I haven't taken out of the box, and this is a stupid admission, but I have Rhett and Link action figures. Rhett and Link, the 2 stars of the show, the YouTube series Good Mythical Morning, and I'm keeping those in box because I feel like that might be a collector's item that gets some kind of value.
It will to 6 people,
right? But to those 6 people, they're willing to go, get themselves another mortgage.
Yeah, have we not learned from Beanie Baby?
Oh no, it's a lesson we have to keep. That's literally. I think I brought it up once before on here, but that's literally the Labubus today.
Yeah.
Like if you've seen the whole craze about Labubus and people saying, "Oh, they're going to be worth money," and some people will go online and spend $40-$50 to get a one of these Labubus, and I don't understand. I'm sorry, my brain jumped to something else, and I have to bring it up.
Okay.
So, and I'm pretty sure that we're safe that her daughter isn't listening, but my friend's daughter has a birthday coming up.
Okay.
And what they're getting her for her birthday is called a reborn. Reborn doll.
Okay. A doll?
Doll.
Okay. I've never heard of it. I don't know what this is.
So I'm going to Google it. And what they're essentially lifelike baby dolls.
So kind of like when we were kids, they had the dolls that peed and pooped and
kind of, except for no.
Okay.
They don't do that. These were designed mostly to help as a therapy aid for people who have lost their babies.
Oh, okay. So it's not technically a toy.
No.
It's a.
This is an example of one, and I'm gonna hold this up, and I'm also gonna try to put this up on the Facebook page.
Wow, that's lifelike.
So lifelike.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a few of these
that's really creepy.
And I asked my friend, I said, but where will all of you sleep? If this is in your house,
right.
Where will you sleep? Because I'm not sleeping in the same house.
Yeah, that's nightmare.
As one of these things.
Yeah, that's like inviting Chucky to live with you. To me,
it feels like here's another one. Here's another example of one.
It looks like an actual.
It looks like a baby.
Now I don't know what it looks like for real. I mean, like in a picture though, it looks like a baby.
Well, that's the thing. It's like it
once you
moves,
see it and everything,
like when you hold it and like you move it, it moves like a baby's. Is
it warm? Like a human?
Think it's warm. Yeah, I think maybe you can put it in the microwave.
Oh my gosh, this is.
I'm kidding.
But that's just it. This is how it's so creepy to me.
It's so weird.
This thing, does it fill with like AI where it'll start walking and stuff on you? Or,
I think maybe that's the next logical step.
Like, does this thing crawl and move and stuff?
No, it just is a doll. It's just a baby.
Okay, that thing starts walking around the floor, man.
I don't know how to feel about it. Like, and I know it's not up to me, but it's like, I understand if you're going through it, like as a mom that like lost a baby and stuff, but to want one of those is
it
like,
does feels a little off-putting.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll find a picture and put it up over on the 106.5 Facebook page so you can know what I'm talking about.
And part of the problem is we are of an age where we grew up watching movies like Short Circuit and that stupid TV show where the little girl was a robot.
I was going to say, what was the one? Oh gosh, darn it!
She wore the little red dress. And
it wasn't Batteries Not Included. It was what was it called? Small Wonder.
Small Wonder. Yeah, the Small Wonder girl. We grew up to all this stuff, and now it's come to fruition. And it's like, this ain't right.
Right. What I'm worried more is it's going to invade my dreams.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to have dreams about the reborn baby and it like opening its eyes and its pupils being black.
So let's get back to what you started saying. Some parents want to get their kid one of these, like a toy. Like, is a Cabbage Patch Kid not good enough or whatever they're into now?
Well, and my other thought was, because she's got and this is a young girl, so she likes to have the motherly role, and she like gets her baby clothes and stuff like that. But she's got two other ones that are just regular dolls. And so my mindset in the doll world is, are they going to be jealous,
right,
of the realism and lifelikeness of their new sibling?
Yeah, I mean it's kind of like you got. Like a kid's got his little Huffy, and next thing you know, you give him a motorbike.
Right.
Next thing you know, I'm not riding the Huffy anymore. I'm motorbiking.
Right.
You know?
You're going to wake up one morning, you're going to see one of the older dolls looking around the corner for you, and the other one is going to have a pillow over the real reborn baby. And so, just that's the scenario you're going to wake up to, is they're going to try to take out the other baby.
It's going to be like Toy Story, where you see like Mr. Potato Head hanging up from the thing, and they do catch it mid-freeze.
Mm-hmm. Freeze! Oh, I shouldn't have frozen this position. Yeah,
but here's the next thing. To get this for a kid seems like odd if it's designed to be a support tool for grieving mothers.
Well, but it's also, I mean, there's like with Labubus and everything. There's collectors and there's people who make who have several versions of these.
Yeah, this gets back to I
think that there's like the version that's like the level that's the therapy, and then there's the level that's the something for a loved one.
This all seems weird.
Well, here's the other part of it is, I also grew up in a where my grandmother, she had a lot of baby statues. She had Cupid dolls.
Figurines.
She had Cupid dolls, and she had Precious Moments figures. And that was like everywhere in her house. And the other thing is, she had a Victorian like porcelain doll that like lived upstairs where the room I slept in was when I stayed with my grandma. So yeah, that was, I have a disdain for dolls and dolls.
I am
adjacent.
1,000% with you. You come to my house, you'll be seeing a bunch of dolls and figurines.
Right.
Like, I remember way back when Kim and I were dating, and the first thing I noticed, she had one of them Blair Witch kids that they stuck in the corner of those. And once I moved, I was like, that thing's gone.
I had a friend that's since moved to Michigan, but she had one of those in her corner, and it was so like, you'd walk into the and it was in the front, like the foyer, but you'd walk into it, and it was just this blonde kid, facing the corner, crying, like hands up like
they called them pouting kids or something. They had a name for them.
And it was so realistic.
Yeah, it's nightmare fuel.
It's so terrible.
And she had one in there. I said, that's got to go, Kim. I said, that thing scares the living daylights out of me. I said,
right.
She's like, what do you mean? I was like, have you not watched The Blair Witch? This is The Blair Witch right there. This is what, before the Blair Witch kills everybody, they makes them go in the corner and just like that.
And okay, I would even argue it would be better if you turn it around and there's a full like face. But you turn it around and it's like a structure on the other side to like fit into the corner.
Right.
And that's even more off-putting because, I've seen Pyramid Face from Silent Hill. And it's, there's just, I don't know. There's a lot to be scared of in this world.
Yeah. Well, and then, let's face it. Every horror movie, that's got clowns and figurines, they all kill you in some way, shape, or form. Mm-hmm. So, yes. I'm a little unnerved when someone walks in and they got a whole shelf of these porcelain faces staring at you. That is nightmare fuel. Yeah. And I don't know how anybody could live in that room by themselves without feeling like the world's going to kill me, because that's what it feels like.
Right. It's just
and that's natural.
It's a step too far, but
I think our guest is here.
Yes.
Right? Yes. So let's get going.
We should.
Let me give you a little rundown for today's show. Got a full slate for you. Here in just a few minutes, I believe we have Adrienne and Judy joining us to talk Eastern New Mexico State Fair. Ooh. And of course, like I said, we're about a week and a half away from all that. But we're going to talk arts and crafts because some of the turn-in stuff for arts and crafts side of the fair, that's coming up like this weekend. So so we need to get on the stick on that one. So we'll talk with Judy and Adrienne here in just a bit. In the 8 o'clock hour, about 8:15, we're going to replay our interview we had on Friday with Rocio from the Roswell Public Library, talking about some of their upcoming events. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, about 9:15, we're going to have the folks from the 5th Judicial District Office here, District Attorney's Office, join us. I'm not sure if it'll be Diana or Justin or
Hunter,
any of the Hunter or
some combo of the three.
Or Gina and the dogs.
It's just going to be the dogs this time.
Yeah, it could be just the dogs. Could be just Chevy. But anyway, it'll be someone from the DA's office join us, and we'll have our monthly conversation with them. And then, of course, we'll have all of your features that include the newses of the local, national, variety, Wall Street business updates, spouts, and whatever else we can come up with for today's show. But first, for your listening pleasure, the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Things look pretty good today. We do have a slight chance of an afternoon shower or thunderstorm. About 83 for the high in Roswell today. We'll be up around 90 in Carlsbad and 87 for Artesia. A shower possible this evening and then just cloudy overnight with low 60s. A slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm again on Friday, mid-80s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 61 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 84%. Winds are calm at the moment. There is a 20% chance at some afternoon showers today. They're talking after 3 o'clock. Otherwise, mostly sunny. Expect highs 86, mid-80s today with southeast winds at around 5 miles per hour. Tonight, we're looking at a 20% chance of rain. They're talking mainly before 9 p.m., Partly cloudy, overnight low of 62 degrees, south winds at around 5 miles per hour. For your Friday, a 20% chance at afternoon showers, mostly sunny. 85 are expected high tomorrow. Winds will be out of the south, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Friday night, we are looking at a 40% chance, because of course we are, just in time for football. 40% chance at showers and thunderstorms, mostly cloudy, overnight low of 63, south winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then for the weekend, no talk of rain, sunny and a high of 89 for Saturday, and sunny and 94 on Sunday. And then we'll start Monday next week in the low 90s, back into the upper 80s by Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. All right, it is 7:24. We're going to take a 3-minute commercial break, and then we'll talk Eastern New Mexico State Fair on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Coach, question for you over here.
Coach, can you talk about the latest trade rumors?
Absolutely. Right now, you can get big money for your trade at Roswell Ford.
Start your season with a win at Roswell Ford. Right now, we need trades. So if you're making payments on your current vehicle and want out early, Roswell Ford will do whatever it takes to help you escape from your trade. Even if you owe thousands more than it's worth, regardless of make, miles, or condition. With 0% APR and no payments for 90 days. Worried about your credit? Don't sweat it. Roswell Ford has partnered with more aggressive lenders who will push to approve your credit with great terms, with good credit, no credit, or even if your credit is less than perfect. All roads lead to huge American-made savings, more for your trade, and a better buying experience. Get on board at Roswell Ford, 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell. Call 575-623-3673 or online at roswellford.com. 0 APR for 48 months is $20.83 per thousand finance. Interest accrues from date of sale. Subject to lender approval on select vehicles. Offers not combined.
Injury, surgery, or illness can set you back, but you don't have to recover alone. At Artesia General Hospital, our rehabilitation services team provides physical, occupational, and speech therapy to help you regain strength, mobility, and confidence. Take the next step toward recovery. Call 575-736-8174 today to schedule an appointment and get back to living life to the fullest.
Attention high school students and parents. Now is the time to make your plans to come visit the most affordable university in the Southwest, Eastern New Mexico University. ENMU is hosting our annual high school open house preview day on Saturday, October 18th. Come learn about scholarships, discover majors, talk with current students and faculty, and win some great prizes. Sign up today at enmu.edu/open house. Eastern New Mexico University. Student success. That's what we're about.
If you're missing a tooth or several teeth, a dental implant may be the ultimate solution. Implants look and feel so much like real teeth that you probably forget you have an implant. Maupin and Brown Dentistry is one of New Mexico's most experienced implant providers, with literally thousands of implant patients who are absolutely delighted with the results. Call Maupin and Brown today for an evaluation. You'll be surprised how affordable implants can be. Maupin and Brown, your choice for experienced, state-of-the-art dentistry.
Bob Reed Pest Control. Reliable, professional, and experienced. The technicians at Bob Reed Pest Control have been providing pest management services for over 50 years and will continue to set high standards for their customers. Protect your family's most important investment, your home, and protect your children and pets from the dangers of poisonous bugs and insects. Everyone at Bob Reed Pest Control are trained and knowledgeable in the latest pest management practices, offering effective treatment plans for each situation. Bob Reed Pest Control. Find them online, BobReedPestControl.com, or call 575-623-5344. Serving all of Southeast New Mexico.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The Goodyear Rubber Company researched and concluded that shoes wear out faster on the right foot than on the left. To fix this, just walk backwards for half the day. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 27 minutes after 7 o'clock, and back in studio, Adrienne with us from Eastern New Mexico State Fair. Good morning. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm doing well.
It's hard to good. It's hard to believe, but yeah, it's kind of and to be honest, fair's sneaking up on us because it's just been so much going on. You know, UFO Festival, now air races, and Piñata Fest. Like, oh yeah, now it's fair time.
I know that the second the morning gets a little crispy, I'm like, oh, it's coming.
Is the season. But yeah, we are roughly a week and a half-ish away from Eastern New Mexico State Fair. Of course, next weekend it will be that's when everyone starts rolling in with the livestock and all that stuff. And then the week after that, parade, and here we go. But really, it's starting now in you guys' world. The real preliminary parts of the fair, where, believe it or not, you'll start seeing some of the entries and things for this year's fair getting turned in this weekend.
So all entries are different categories have different deadlines.
Sure.
But arts and crafts entries are to be turned in starting tomorrow morning.
Yeah, because all of the work for that really gets done actual public coming to the fair. That's when you show up and you see all the blue ribbons all over the pies and cakes and dresses and what have you. And that's because all that's being done now.
Right. We have a team that works their tail off for the next week, organizing and categorizing and judging and making it, displaying it all. So it's when you walk in that barn, you're just kind of overwhelmed with all the talent in the community. And
it's a bevy. And trust me, as someone who's helped judge like some of the foods and stuff in years past, they have their work cut out for them. like at first you're like, oh yeah, twist my leg, eat a bunch of cookies and cakes and stuff. And it's a lot harder than you realize. And by the end of that day, if you're not feeling like you got sick, you didn't do your job. Because you're just like, oh, I don't want to eat. Hey, you want a cookie? Don't look at me with that cookie right now.
Well, and they're all beautiful and delicious.
Exactly. And that's the problem. Because at first you're like eating the whole cookie, and then by the time of round 7 of this, you're like, oh, I only look at another bite of cookie. But so yes, judges, we salute you. I know people like, oh, you got a different. No, it's hard. That's hard work, and yes, you're really kind of sacrificing a little bit for the good of these.
I mean, it's
kids.
a tough job.
It is.
Somebody's got to do it.
It's not as all. Because I'm like, oh, this is gonna be skate, but I was hurting after that. I'm not cut out for this, but yeah, this is kind of that week. So if you are planning to get your entries in and this weekend, tomorrow, this is when you need to start getting those entries submitted and things like that, so you have a chance to get judged and get your ribbons for this year's stuff here. So.
Right. The arts and crafts entries are. The form is online, so you can print it out and bring it, or we'll obviously have lots of forms there.
Sure, you can fill it out anyway.
And then, but they start at 9 tomorrow, and they go till 6, and then Saturday and Sunday it's 1 to 6. So whenever that fits into your schedule,
come on by.
And if there's a problem, and for whatever reason you just absolutely miss it. Call the fair office and we'll
see if we can
work with
make some arrangements and see. But yeah, the thing, and this is something that if you plan on doing anything in the fair, regardless whether it's turning in stuff for arts and crafts or competing in the livestock shows or anything like that, please go to the website. It's the same one they've always had, enmsf.com. You go there to Eastern New Mexico State Fair, and you can kind of see everything. You'll see all the entertainment, all the things that are on tap for this year's fair, but the fair book is there. And that's where you can go and go right to you don't have to print off and download the 150 some odd or whatever pages that thing is.
It's a lot to read, and that people don't like to read. They like to they would rather just Google it and get the answer.
But that way
some of it's hard to get like that.
Yeah, but that way you can kind of scroll through it and get to your here's the arts and crafts section, and then you can see exactly what they're going to be judging you on and what your requirements are to turn in to meet the and all that, and that way get that brushed up on that, so when you do turn in your projects this weekend or next, depending on what you're doing, you're doing all that way. That way you don't have to come turn in your stuff and have a bunch of questions. You can say, okay, they're going to expect this, and this, and then and that'll make the process smooth for you and for your volunteers too. Let's face it, they appreciate you.
And it is, this week or this weekend we take they're taking all of the fine arts and quilting and needlework and all of the different categories for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then baked goods aren't due until next week
because they got to be fresh.
They have to be fresh.
You don't want pie sitting a week. I mean, you could, but it's not going to have nearly the wow factor.
Well, and stuff, cakes start to slide and melt, and they don't look as pretty after they've been sitting out there for a while. let's just face it. It's the fairgrounds, and after a week of sitting out at the fairgrounds, it's going to be a little funky. Yeah. So that's next Sunday, but everything else is.
Yeah, but all the textile stuff, clothing, things like that.
Right.
Yeah, but save your cookies and baked goods. Turn those in next week, so it's not breaking teeth for the.
Well, yes, and it's it's just we have. There's so much. There's so many entries, and most people kind of start working on their arts and crafts for this year. Right after last year.
Yeah, it usually takes months to. And so.
But you still got plenty of time to figure out your baked goods.
Although I would imagine, because I know, like my mom was a crocheter and a crafter, needlepoint things, and and I'm going to assume most people that do this literally have closets full of crafts, dresses, blankets, whatever that they work on. So I'm sure you're like, if it's something you made recently, like, hey, this qualifies. If you got an Afghan you've been made over the summer or something like that,
right?
Let's turn it in. Now, don't be turning great grandma's thing she made 20 years ago. But if you've been working on the thing, just so happens, and you're like, oh, this qualifies for the fair, turn it in. Yeah.
And there, usually things are made within the last year or so. But obviously, some of these projects, they take a year.
Absolutely.
Or more. And, as long as it's something that people are working on, like you said, we don't want antiques.
Sure.
But
yeah. But like sometimes, because I know crafters craft. That's what they do. And they just maybe like, oh, I'm just learning about this, entering into the fair stuff. Maybe I should, that blanket I made back in March, I should turn that in. Yeah, you should.
It is. And it's interesting because, the more I visited with people that enter items, it is cool when you hear their story about this wooden box that they made.
Yeah.
Or, where they acquired the different components to their project.
That's the fun.
It's very, it's interesting, and it's lovely to hear these people, share their talents and their stories that go with them.
Yeah. Well, and this is why craft fairs are so great and everything, because everything you're buying has some kind of heart behind it. Someone put their love, blood, sweat, and tears. I'm not saying, you go to Walmart and buy a Vegematic. Somebody did at one point put their blood, sweat, and tears and everything. But no, with arts and crafts, every blanket was touched by this person. Every painting, was touched by this person, and the story behind it and whatever's going on in their lives at the moment they're doing it is in that piece. And that's really what it's about. It's not, the blankets, there's lots of beautiful blankets, but when you hear like this blanket was my grandma's and it was this and who died there and this, it just means that much more. And you're like, oh, that's a really cool story.
It is neat. And we have so many categories. There's the traditional arts and crafts projects, the needlework, the painting, the fine arts. And then, we have a Lego category, and that is really fun for younger children.
Absolutely.
And just to kind of,
or families, get a chance for mom and dad, or mom, dad, and the kids to
everybody who
sit
thinks
down
that they're not crafty. If you look in the fair book, there's something you can do.
Absolutely. Crafting is in the eye of the beholder.
Right. We have a very broad definition of crafting. So
well, and it's because we want to be as inclusive as possible and get everybody to encouraged into tap it into their creative side a little bit. Have some fun with it. That's it's and the fun part about arts and crafts is there's rules. But in the art world, you learn the rules to bend the rules. You know what I mean? And it's like, because you get, okay, the rules for painting or rules for this, but then you want to create new techniques and ways to push that envelope.
And we, like, we have, like I said, so many categories, and then every category has pretty much a and everything else category at the end of it.
Yeah.
So if people can't figure out where it goes in that new and inventive and everything else category.
We create a box no matter if it doesn't seem to fit in a box, we'll create a box for it kind of thing.
As long as it's something, that we're able to display and show, we're going to take it.
And I want to also remind folks too that, when you go out to the fair here in a week and a half and you go bring your families and you're going to ride the rides and seeing the shows and eating copious amounts of food on sticks and things like that. Make sure you spend time in the arts and crafts and education building. It's a great place to cool off on those hot days.
It's air conditioned.
Yeah, it's one of the great places to find coolness at the fairgrounds. But you will be literally blown away by a level of talent of all ages. There's adults in there that have some amazing artwork and things like that. And then you see this painting or see this dress and you're like, wow, that's a beautiful. And then you find out 8-year-old did it. And it's just like, wow, that is, and that room, every corner you turn, you find one of those stories just about. In every room and every wall, you're just like, oh, check this one out. And then you start getting into it a little bit and you're like, how cool is this? This little 7-year-old that did this. And
it is. And we'll have some of the different quilting groups out there that are having kind of hands-on projects or demonstrations. And I believe the Roswell Museum is going to have just kind of, I don't know if they're going to do a project or just information, but there'll be visitors and other things happening in there. So it's a great place to go check it out. It's a great place to walk around and cool off and just kind of enjoy some of the.
Yeah, they got some great, and then of course I hear the train guys have been up in their game too in there. Yeah. So like I'm hearing they're trying to pipe like train music and sounds and things. So I think when you're walking around that area, you're going to be, it sounds like a train station over here.
Those trains are crazy. They're so cool.
They are. But again, one of the other things that are in that building that you go in there, and usually they keep the pumpkin growing in there too. So
so that's all in the education building.
Yeah, they moved
that one's not air conditioned.
Yeah, that one's not. But you wander in there too because the pumpkins are
But
a
it's
sight to see.
a neat little, walk through there. There's displays of different groups in town and organizations that put together their
like if you're looking for
window
nonprofits, or if you're saying, hey, I want to find some places I can volunteer, go in the education building. That's where a lot of nonprofits have like little displays and presentations that kind of learn you a little bit more about
there's
their
nonprofits,
groups.
There's organizations if you're looking for something to get involved with or, get your kids involved with. There's a lot of
I know
opportunities in
a
there.
lot of the veteran groups have page or have a display out there. I think like Bitter Lake and some of the other volunteer organizations, Zoo and some of these others.
There's so many. I couldn't list them all.
It's kind of a who's who's.
But it is neat when you go in there. You're like, oh, okay, this is what they do, and it's neat to see them share their, their group.
Exactly. You get to learn a little bit more about your neighbors and everybody else. So please, if you've got some family that are crafty and stuff, and maybe, like I said, maybe they're crafty anyway, and you just never thought to submit some of this into the fair. Well, game on. If you've got all the textile stuff, the clothing and the things you paint, stuff like that, that's all getting turned in this weekend. Save your savory and sweet dishes for next weekend. Next weekend, about the same time the cows and the chickens and the lambs and the goats will all be rolling.
That's when it really starts ramping up. Is next Sunday. Everybody brings their critters and baked goods, and then the parade kicks off first thing Monday.
Yeah, and you know what? That's when this is a lot of fun. Unless you're showing animals and stuff, you don't really see this side of the fair. But if you get out there at like 7, 8 in the morning, you know what I mean? It's kind of eerily quiet, except for the random but there's not a lot of people, and it's just kind of a different, different feel out there. And then a couple hours later, when all the livestock shows start cranking up by 8 o'clock, it gets busy. But
it gets busy, and.
But
it's exciting.
I remember doing morning shows out at the fair. It's not the most popular time to be out at the fair, and I'm out here by myself doing a show. Like, hey, here we are on the radio. Come see us at the fair. There's me and some cows. But it's kind of peaceful in a weird way.
It is. It is kind of. Like I think it's neat to watch like everything build. Like right now, it's pretty bare.
Sure.
But over the next, they're already starting to bring.
You start to see trucks and trailers,
and so you just kind of watch it.
Is there a plan again to open the carnival up Monday after inspection there? So.
The carnival should be it.
Or are they going to do a pre-weekend thing like they do?
We don't have a pre-weekend thing yet because we're still working on permits and different things. But as soon as we have our permits in place, we'll announce it.
We'll announce all that. But I didn't know if they had a plan yet.
Yeah, we like to take care of that ahead of time.
Sure.
We don't like to wait for that inspection on Monday.
Well, yeah,
sometimes
because
it's out of our control.
You go to where the government guy says you go. But you guys do work really hard because obviously that's usually one of the top 2 questions coming out of someone's mouth when they talk about the fair is when the ride's open. Yep. And looking hopefully as soon as possible on that Monday, so as close to after the parade and when the fair opens, the better. They'll shoot for it. But, sometimes they can get open as quick as noon. Sometimes it's more like 5 or 6 o'clock before it happens.
The past several years, we've had it open right at noon. So
I want to say like last year you guys actually had it the weekend before, like there was a preview weekend.
We did kind of a sneak preview weekend and just kind of watch our Facebook page.
And it also beholdens to the carnival schedule. Like, if they can't, if they're booked up, they can't get in early, then guess what? Then they can't do a weekend thing. But if, we didn't have a fair for a couple of weeks, we can come in early and do our thing.
We really have a good relationship with our carnival. They bring a great show. They bring different rides.
Long history working with these groups.
They have a clean team that they work with. And,
we don't see a lot of instances everything's on the up and up. You can hear horror stories of rides and fairs and things, but you guys have always worked with very reputable, very, very above the line type companies.
Right. John Wright is our carnival guy, and he's out of Colorado, and he has a
They're a family business for him.
He is,
They're kind of like the fair, and it's a big family, Yeah.
Yep.
Actually, it is a big family by blood and everything. It is. like actual family.
It is.
But so we're very blessed to have them each and every year, and that's why generally speaking, the rides at the fair usually go off without a hitch. The only problems is not related to humans. It's usually weather or something that we can't control.
I know.
Which is guaranteed. I guarantee the week of the fair, there will be some rain at some point at some time. It just happens here.
It does.
But please check. And if you haven't started now, and I get it because there's been air races and UFO festivals, and now you're like, oh man, now it's fair. I didn't realize fairs is the week after. Like, yeah, it's coming up. So go to the website, enmsf.com. Start downloading the fair book. Start checking out. They got another great year of entertainment lined up for this year's fair. Again, the concerts and stuff the price of those are included in your admission into the fair. So you can see a lot of great up and coming and some artists now for pennies on the dollar, where you probably go to, Albuquerque or Phoenix or something, see these guys for $100 a ticket. So
it's always a fun thing. It's like, I always feel like I encourage people to go out because, one, it's included with the price of admission. You're not going to get a better deal for between the free entertainment, the ground entertainment that we have, and the dragons and the magicians and all that.
Yeah, all the side stuff, and as you're walking, you just see, there's a big giant robot that comes up on you, Yeah. All the fun will be back this year. And, of course, ride the rides, visit the commercial building, but please spend some time at the real heart of the fair, the livestock arena, the education and arts and crafts buildings. This is where the soul and heart of the fair is. This is what it's all about, the kids and their projects and our community. So
it is. It's a way to showcase our community.
Absolutely.
And appreciate what our friends and neighbors can do.
And this is a big stage. We get, it's Eastern New Mexico State Fair, but really it's State Fair 2 is really what it is.
It is. We have people we usually have participants from every county in the state, which is
even the western ones.
We're very proud of that. I know. Even the northern ones. We're very proud of that they come to participate in the
Absolutely.
fair.
So, but by far, it's a spotlight for us, and so come and enjoy it. And then I say it every year, and I know as we get in next week, when we get a little closer, we'll remind folks. But pro tip is always, the Eastern New Mexico State Fair, they have their well-oiled machine when it comes to lost kids and things like that out at the fair. But every year, at least once or twice, they have to, respond to a lost child or something like that. They have this procedure in place. They work it every time where they shut the fairgrounds down. No one goes in or out. But to expedite your situation, if your kid wanders off, because I get it, it happens. We all have kids and that family. We know how that works sometimes. Take a picture of your child right before you go into the fair in the clothes they're wearing. So if they got their little summer dress on or wearing their Spider-Man shirt or whatever that is, take a picture right then and there. So that way, if you do get separated, you can go up to any of the security or law enforcement or any of the folks or any of the staff there at the fair. You say, hey, my child's missing. Here's a picture. They go right into action. They can use that picture within minutes. They'll get that to every officer and every official that are right there. And then by the time you can say your name, everybody at the gates already have a picture of your child and will be on the lookout to find your child. So when they end up still over at the ice cream thing because everyone else wandered off,
It really, we take it very seriously, and that is a great idea, or that's a great tip for everyone to do, especially with little people. But fortunately, we've always been able to resolve those situations.
Yeah, it
feels like for an eternity when it's you, but it happens very quickly.
Absolutely, and we do appreciate everyone's cooperation when those instances, because it's guaranteed it's going to happen every year. When you get that many thousands of people in one area, there's bound to be an incident. And look, how many times did we do it ourselves with our own spouses and stuff? Hey, I'm going to look at these mugs, and then one's off because they squirrel purses, and then they go over here.
Flash shiny lights.
Next thing you know, where'd my wife go? Where'd my husband go? Where'd my kids go?
Take a picture of your husband if you need
to. Exactly. Now, pro tip. Hang around smoking meats, and you'll probably find your husband. He'll be somewhere near the smoke. or the rubs. Go into the Mexico store, all the green chili rubs and stuff. Guys seem to wander there. Just from my experience.
True.
But please, we'd love to see our arts and crafts folks get, here's really 2-minute warning. Get your entries turned in. They start tomorrow turning in entries for a lot of the arts and crafts, non-perishable type stuff. Right. Again, go get the fair book and go download and pick. You don't have to get the whole fair book. Just get the sections that you are interested in, and make sure that everything you meets the requirements and needs, and then turn it in tomorrow. You can download that form there, pre-fill it out, bring it with you, or just bring your project and we can fill it out when you get to the fairgrounds here. Whatever's convenient.
Right, and we
for you.
have volunteers that have been doing this for a long time, and they're there to help. They're there to fill in your form for you, and sometimes they all have to look at it and go, well, we don't even know where this goes, but they find a spot.
Yeah, when you come in and you got, all right, what is this? This is so cool, but I don't know how to label it. And
right. Even so, Pioneer Bank for several years has sponsored the Roswell, I want to say it's like the UFO or alien themed entry at the arts and crafts. There are very few, if any, rules. It just has to have an alien theme. And so that's where a lot of people can participate and win a pretty nice little prize, a cash prize.
So that's where, and obviously, you could take that wherever you want to.
Right.
That can be, there's no, till we find some aliens and get an actual map on what they, everyone else, it's up to your imagination on that. So,
yeah, it's always fun
have
to
fun
see what
with
people come up with.
Yeah, and people do get creative. That's the cool thing about the fair is you really see, like, each year when they do things like over the years. Like, I remember several years ago they were doing like some food drives, and so they had invited people to build like these can forts and and you saw some amazing cool stuff that people did. And so that's what I love about the fair is whatever they're doing each year, they're drawing out the creativity and fun stuff. So please participate.
It's a fun place.
Yeah. So again, go to Eastern Mexico State Fair's website, enmsf.com. Go look at the fair book. Go peruse it now. And if you're just thinking, "Oh man, fair is coming up. I haven't heard what's going on this year's fair." Get there and start learning up on the entertainment and special armband nights and all the stuff that's coming up here at this year's fair.
Right.
So, and obviously throughout next week we're going to have more folks from the fair from different parts of the fair giving you information on like entertainment and rides and just various things that are going to be happening out at the fair each day out there.
Right.
And stuff. Senior days and student days, all the things that are normally part of the fair. So kids know because they're like, I know that Monday I'm off school already.
Right?
They're already counting. My wife too. They're already counting. I'm off on the 20 whatever the day is, 4th or 9th 29th. Or whatever. Yeah, 29th, whatever day. Yeah. See, that's just my days. I'm like, and 29th is like, that's not next week, but it's the week after, and just it's like, man, this time is going by. It'll be October in a minute, and
it will be.
It's like, what happened to September? It just started, didn't it? Like, wasn't it August? Like
I feel
a week ago.
You're right.
And now, and then it'll be Christmas right after that. We're gonna blink and it's Christmas, then we'll blink again, and kids are graduating high school. So it is what it is. Adrian, is there anything we didn't cover you wanted to cover, or did we get it all?
I don't have, no, but if you have questions, go to Facebook, go to the fair's website.
Oh, yeah, the Eastern New Mexico State Fair Facebook page. Please like and follow that.
Right. And also, if you can't find your answer, we have several people that work in our office that are very familiar with the fair book and the rules and the frequently asked questions, and
they dream about it in there at night and whether they want to or not.
Right, it does. I know. I texted somebody at 3:30 this morning.
It's like, in my sleep.
I was like, I'm sorry. I know you're asleep. Don't wake up.
And they're like, I won't. But yes, get ready for fair. It's going to be a lot of fun. Please make time to enjoy this year's fair and support it. Come out and see the best of what Southeast New Mexico has to offer, and that's really what that week is all about. And come for the shows, come for the rides, come for the concerts, come for the rodeos, come for everything.
We're going to have it all.
So. Yeah, it's just a fun week, and let's keep if we get weather like this week, that week,
it's going to be nice.
We're going to be in good shape. So, but please get those entries turned in and get ready for some fun. And of course, I know we as a radio station and our radio group will be out there all week doing broadcasts and livestock in the shows. The livestock shows will have the live streaming video of all those things. So you tell all your out of town grandparents and family that you'll be able to tune into those shows. But if you're in town, and you have the availability, I get it. People have jobs and things and they can't break away. But if you got a day off and some time, go down to the fair and have lunch and go watch some livestock shows, man. I mean, and I'm telling you, I say this every year, and it's true. You eat fair food at the fair, the calories don't count.
So true.
Now, the
Especially
moment
those funnel cakes.
Exactly, it doesn't
I don't know
count.
how they do it.
Now, if you take the fair food off the fairgrounds, the calories double. That's the drawback. But if you're at the fair and you're walking around with your turkey legs and funnel cakes and various meats on sticks, calories don't count. So you can eat them there at the fair. So if you want 8 pounds of cotton candy and funnel cake,
do it there.
And then finish off with a 20-pound lemonade, then by golly.
Get it in while you're on the ground.
Exactly. We even got a hospital nearby in case you go comatose from that sugar coma. Absolutely. So, very good. Well, thank you very much. I'm sure you got a few fires to stomp at the office this morning.
Well,
so
I
you
appreciate you having me. And
anytime.
We'll see you again.
And we'll see you next time.
I know.
We'll see you a lot over the next week or so, probably. So, thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
All right. It is 7:55. Let us pause for news and a quick break. Don't go away.
Now for your Pecos Valley News Update. I'm Jared Sorello. In another sign of the summer season winding down, the splash pads at Pocorn Park and Carpenter Park will wrap up their summer season at the end of this month. The City of Roswell's 2 splash pads will operate for their final day of the year on September 30th before closing until next year. The splash pads are open daily from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. through September 30th. Meanwhile, the indoor pool at the Roswell Rec and Aquatic Center offers swimming opportunities. The center's outdoor pool has already closed for the season. The city of Artesia is providing a small update on the work being done near 4th and Runyon Streets. In a Facebook message, the city says you've likely noticed the work at the site of the old Armory building. That land will now be used for a new housing subdivision. The city says it expects 40 new units to go in at the site. The first of these units should be arriving by this time next year. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
Ready, set, hurry on down to Tate Branch Roswell, where we finish first. Experience the Tate Branch difference here at Tate Branch Roswell, where business is done the Tate Branch way with honesty and integrity to deliver an exceptional customer experience. We have a huge selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs that are priced to move and are backed with a lifetime powertrain warranty. It's all backed by friendly, hometown customer service that puts you first every time. So don't wait. Head on down to Tate Branch Roswell right here at 2000 West 2nd Street and drive home happy today. Tate Branch Roswell. Come experience the world-class experience you have been waiting for.
You may have heard the federal government has made some major changes to health insurance, and it could affect your eligibility for coverage or how much money you can save. Schedule an appointment with a Be Well certified assister who will help you navigate these changes and what they mean for you for free. Don't wait. Open enrollment begins November 1st. Schedule an appointment today at BeWellNM.com and let us do the work for you.
Emerging fund managers and venture capital companies. Streamline your investment strategy with the state of New Mexico's SSBCI program. The SSBCI offers free expert support to help you access opportunities and drive small business growth. We'll help you navigate funding requirements, legal considerations, accounting, and more. Get started today at edd.newmexico.gov. That's edd.newmexico.gov. Sponsored by this station and the NMBA.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. The Federal Reserve cut its key interest rate by a quarter point Wednesday and projected it would do so twice more this year. The move is the Fed's first cut since December and lowered its short-term rate to 4.1%, down from 4.3%. Major U.S. lenders lowered a key interest rate on Wednesday, providing U.S. consumers a reprieve on borrowing cost. J.P. Morgan Chase, Citigroup, Wells Fargo, and Bank of America lowered their prime lending rates to 7.25% from 7.5%. Amazon says it's making a $1 billion investment to raise wages and lower the cost of health care plans for its U.S. fulfillment and transportation workers. A proposed Caesars Palace casino in Times Square lost its bid for a gambling license Wednesday after running into fierce competition and opposition from Broadway theater owners and producers who were worried about the potential impact on the theater district. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Things look pretty good today. We do have a slight chance of an afternoon shower or thunderstorm. About 83 for the high in Roswell today. We'll be up around 90 in Carlsbad and 87 for Artesia. A shower possible this evening and then just cloudy overnight with low 60s. A slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm again on Friday, mid 80s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
On air and online, this is Roswell's home for talk radio, KEND Roswell.
Town Hall, I'm Rich Thomason. President Trump wrapping up his two-day state visit to the UK, and following yesterday's pomp and pageantry, today the President and Prime Minister Starmer got down to business. Mr. Trump announcing a new U.S.-UK alliance.
We're taking the next logical step with a historic agreement on science and technology partnerships, and this will create new government, academic, and private sector cooperation in areas such as AI, which is taking over the world.
The president says the two-nation pact is already paying off, spurring a massive wave of private sector deals worth more than $350 billion. Prime Minister Starmer hails the pact as groundbreaking.
£250 billion flowing both ways across the Atlantic. It is the biggest investment package of its kind in British history by a country mile.
Deadly gunfire yesterday afternoon, York County, Pennsylvania. The victims, members of the Thin Blue Line.
I can confirm that there were 5 law enforcement officers who were shot today. 3 fatally, 2 that were transported here to Wellspan in York.
In critical but stable condition, according to Pennsylvania State Police Commissioner Christopher Paris. The shots rang out. The officers are following up on a domestic-related investigation. The suspect was shot dead by police. At long last, the Federal Reserve cutting its benchmark interest rate by 0.25 percentage point. That means cost of borrowing will be coming down, although President Trump's new appointee to the Fed's Board of Governors had sought a larger rate cut. Still, Chairman Jerome Powell is suggesting there could be at least one more rate cut later this year. And watching Wall Street this hour, the Dow is trading about 101 points higher, NASDAQ up 182. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
The Washington Commanders' long, winding path back to home games in the District of Columbia has cleared yet another roadblock.
The D.C. Council approved legislation for a new stadium on the site of the old RFK Stadium campus by an 11-2 vote. Local lawmakers had already approved the proposal by a 9-3 vote in July. Wednesday's vote was a final step for the D.C. Council to move the process forward. Federal lawmakers agreed to give the city a 99-year lease of the site last year, with several representatives urging local lawmakers to build a new stadium. The proposal will allow Commanders owner Josh Harris to build a $3.7 billion multi-use project anchored by a state-of-the-art dome stadium in the center of a planned retail and housing district. Bernie Bennett, Washington.
ABC has suspended Jimmy Kimmel's late-night show indefinitely following remarks he made about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. The network decision came after Nexstar announced its large chunk of ABC affiliates would be dropping the show indefinitely. News and analysis at townhall.com. The National Toy Hall of Fame announcing its 12 finalists for the class of 2025.
The contenders include tabletop favorites Battleship, Catan, Connect 4, Spirograph, and Trivial Pursuit. as well as scooters, slime, snow, cornhole, and the Star Wars lightsaber. Furby and Tickle Me Elmo round out the finalists chosen from among the thousands of nominees the Rochester, New York Museum receives each year. The public can vote until September 24th, and the winners will be announced in November. Keith Peters, Washington.
Canadian Prime Minister Carney is south today. He's visiting Mexico in a bid to diversify trade and as America's neighbors prepare for a review of a free trade deal with the United States. More than 75% of Canada's exports come to the U.S., while more than 80% of Mexico's exports arrive here. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel and what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican world radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
The Deuce.
The Deuce, indeed. Of Mornings with Mike Winters right here on 106.5 Roswell Talk FM. Happy Thursday, everybody.
Yes.
Weekend almost upon us. You can smell it. Perhaps even taste it from here.
You know what? It wafts of weekend.
It does have a weekend waft. A hint of weekend in the air.
Just ever so slight hint of a weekend.
And it smells all right.
I'm enjoying it. I'm rather enjoying it. Yeah.
You know, speaking of smells, I had a different smell this morning that I experienced. A pleasant one. I was walking from my car into the building this morning. And I'm sitting there walking down the sidewalk, and I'm like, smelling. That's smoked meat smell.
Yes.
And is the barbecue joint back smoking meats over here on 13?
I mean,
not 3rd, on 3rd Street?
On 3rd, I believe that, yes, they are.
Okay.
Back. I'm not sure if they're back open full-time hours.
Okay.
But I have seen signs.
I think I caught what you were cooking on this morning, and I was liking. I'm walking go me a good day, Bob. You know what I mean?
Now, also bear in mind,
smoked meat.
we have Martine's Capital.
I know
right
I'm near
here.
Martine's, but this smelled like barbecue smoke. This didn't smell like breakfast smoke. This smelled like someone was smoking a brisket or some ribs.
Yeah.
Or that smell. Yeah.
I'm a big proponent of sense memories and how a certain smell will take you. Sometimes a certain smell will take me back to when I was young. It's literally a 21 Pilots lyric in a song.
Yeah.
But there's a certain barbecue or a certain smoked meat smell that will always remind me of the fair.
Yeah.
Because
the turkey leg smell?
Well, it's like turkey leg smell, but you also got the regular barbecue guy out there who's doing his thing with, the applewood or whatever. And that's, for some reason, that smell specifically takes me to the fairgrounds. I had a friend who was they were smoking up some pork butt, I think, for pulled pork or whatever. And I walked back onto their back patio, and that smell, I'm just like, it smells like the fair out here.
Yeah,
there's just no other way to describe it.
There is a slight difference in the fair smell, and why I mean by that, because I've done barbecue competitions, and you want to talk about smells, boy.
Oh yeah,
when everyone's smoking meat, there's 100 different teams of people smoking meat around you. It's heavenly. That being said, the fairs has that meat, but then there's other like there's a like you got to mix in a popcorn smell. That's also in there for the fair.
That's
and
true.
Then there's always that Mexican food, like the green chili.
But I would say it also...
You can just smell spice sometimes. You're like, I can also hit the smells of spices a little
And you
bit.
know what I think also kind of does it is you have to have that just hint of livestock smell.
Oh, yeah, and then there is a bouquet of butt from the animals.
So that's what... But that's what maybe was doing it, because you know how Roswell sometimes there are certain days, and everybody who lives in Roswell knows what I'm talking about, where it just sort of smells like sweaty
you
cow
smell
outside.
like the cow field, yeah.
And I think that there was like a combination of that and the smoked meat that was going on that just sort of like took me there.
But it is a good sense memory for most of us, because it's how you think of, you associate good things with it when you smell it. Yeah.
It's also kind of funny though how we build certain associations. Like, okay, for example, my daughter, I've made this joke, or I've mentioned this before, but we drove by, we were in the McDonald's drive-thru one time, and she said it smelled like an Oklahoma gas station. Now, I know what she meant because I know Rhiannon, and I know that she had a smell like you know how, and I've said this before, McDonald's has like a fan where they waft out the good smells, like you're right outside. So it's that smell coupled with just like exhaust.
Yeah.
Because when we leave or arrive in Oklahoma, there's a Love's truck stop like 2 miles from the turnoff to my sister's house that we stop at on the way out or on the way, sometimes on the way in.
Gotcha.
But they have a McDonald's inside the Love's.
Okay.
So that was the association that she was making with the Oklahoma gas station.
Right.
But it's just when you just pop off with it smells like an Oklahoma gas station.
Right.
It really
to her, it's a positive memory.
Of course. It really just sets your mind to wonder.
It doesn't sound like it based on her description, but yes, it is a positive memory.
Sounds like you just described the experience with a lot lizard.
Yeah. But then again, 30 years from now, she's going to go back there to visit family and go into that Love's and spend it. It's going to be that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's
which is funny because I always associate Love's with the smell of onions because most of the Love's I go into have a Subway inside.
Okay.
And so it has that Subway smell.
Yeah, that's like when I go visit historical sites in Virginia. They always have these certain plants that give off this smell that I smell it and I think, oh, I'm in like a Colonial Williamsburg or I'm in Monticello or Mount Vernon or something. You know, it's got a certain smell.
The sweet grasses give off their springtime scent.
Well, I don't know if it's some kind of
My
lavender.
dearest Maybelle.
Yeah, it definitely has a mint juleps by the sycamore.
You smell the sweet grasses and you hear just the faint play of harmonica off in the distance.
Yeah.
Red River Blues is playing somewhere.
Yeah. But you know what though? That's why I also love the weeping willow tree. Like when I think of weeping willow trees, I think of that old savanna, that down south kind of. Now it's a fine line because at dark it also turns into a Scooby-Doo mystery. Right. But during the day it's kind of neat for me.
Weeping willows are it was like the perfect condition of climate to grow weeping willows in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So we had a ton of them, and a lot of if you go to some of the ranches that weren't maybe lived on all year long, you'd find the overgrown ones, and those were always the best for like hide and seek and stuff like that. You could just get lost in a forest.
You could literally build a shelter in them things. Right? I would have loved to have a weeping willow as a tree fort for like a tree for a tree thing as a kid. That would have been good.
You went borderline Swedish Chef just now. Tree fort. Just leaned in.
That time I leaned in a little bit. Kirby, tree
do you know there was a day in my adult life when I made a realization that kind of rocked my world about the Swedish Chef.
How's that?
And I don't know why I never noticed it, but it's that he has human hands. The Swedish Chef has human hands.
Are they 5-fingered?
They're 5-fingered.
Okay.
Yeah, it's literally because what he does you can't do without having regular hands.
He's a chef.
So, but it's something you can't not see. Now that every time you see the Swedish Chef, you're going to notice he's got human hands.
Now I'm like, well, And if I remember right, like his arms and stuff are big.
They're a little bigger, yeah,
than his head.
Because what they do is they've got it's the situation where they've got one puppeteer working the puppet, and one puppeteer behind him with his hands in working the hands. And then you just get to that whose line is it anyway bit where you have the one guy doing the hands for the other guy.
You think puppeteers have the best breath?
You'd have
you think like because of the close proximity they work with each other.
Breath / I
feel like deodorant and breath mints are very important.
Body odor control for sure.
Like I feel like they got to be as odorless as possible. You can't even like hit them with
But then again,
I went with Pure Sport because even if you're like up next to
sport,
sport. But yeah, you know what I mean. like that's going to get a little like ripe after a while.
But then again, you also have to remember that the Muppets, like the original like puppeteers for the Muppets, were some hippies. So it was the whole set of Sesame Street just smelled like patchouli.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. Yeah, well, Jim Henson was a big hippie. I mean,
for sure.
It smells like patchouli and pot and leather.
But here's just a classic picture of Swedish Chef, and you just notice he's got
hands.
human hands.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was for some reason in my head I was thinking he had like the mitten.
Now when he's
like the three
in
finger
his like
thing.
full body form, like in certain like puppet situations, then they're not real hands. But when he's doing his chef thing, you can definitely tell that there's a whole set of human hands.
Yeah. He should have got his own spin-off show.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I would have watched that.
I would have watched the crap out of that show. I would have merch.
Yep. Yep. He is one of my one seeds when it comes to the Muppets.
I'm the target demo for influencer merch in a lot of cases, except for the fact that I feel like I need to, if I'm going to get something from a creator, I need it to make sense out of context, because like I don't want to have to explain a thing to everybody that sees it. Like I feel like
I get you.
Make 7-Up yours is funny no matter what,
right?
But like I can't even say the phrase. There's a tag team. And they're broken up now, but there is this tag team, and the way that they would like high five or whatever is they would scissor. So you could go ahead and put 2 and 2 together of what the shirt looked like. But it's not one I can wear in public. We'll put it that way.
I'm on the fence. Like I see both arguments. Yes, I don't want to have to explain this every time, but part of me loves when you wear something obscure and other people pick the reference. That's the win. Like say
100%.
Like if you're wearing like allegedly shirt, and then you're walking around and someone's like going allegedly, and walks up to you and does that, you're like,
yeah, that is it's a sweet moment for sure. But also, is it sweet enough to counteract the what's that mean?
Yeah, I mean but some instances I say yes because especially if it's something I really like and I really want other people to know if other people like it without saying it. Yeah, then sometimes I'll walk around, with that shirt.
Oh yeah,
and just see what people's reaction is.
During the dark times that we don't speak of, I had a mask that said Ferda on it. It's one of those you definitely have to explain to everybody. What's Ferda?
Yeah.
It's Ferda Boys.
Like one of these days, I got an amazing Letterkenny jersey. But one of these days, when the weather's cold enough, problem is that thing's so huge.
It's cooling off, dude.
I'm going to wear it soon.
Wear a couple of shirts underneath it for padding.
Well, then I'm going to look like a beach ball, with sticks.
You look like Ralph in Christmas Story.
Right. But I swim in that jersey, but I do want to wear my Letterkenny jersey here. It's.
So what we need to do is bulk Mike up a bit.
Yeah.
We need to start getting you on some of that Weight Gain 9000.
Well, when you see me show up to work one day and I look like a child in a man's outfit, then that's what the day is. That day. So.
But it's fun because the sleeves are flappy.
Well, and be honest, there was a time when that was a popular look, like the Kevin Smith look, I call it.
It was 3/4, right?
Yeah, no, I think it's got full long sleeves.
Is it full sleeve?
I think it's hockey sweaters usually do.
I will say this, I can understand when people like a 3/4.
Yeah.
It's just not for me because the whole day I'm going to be doing this, like trying to it just feels.
No, hockey sweaters are full length because you got to cover the gloves and the pads and stuff.
As a fat guy, I've always chosen to wear big, so anything I wear can be baggy. But a 3/4 shirt makes me feel like like I was just hit with the Hulk gamma ray.
And the fashion fallacy is loose clothes make us look not less fat, and that's not true.
Right.
Usually it makes us look fatter.
Looks fatter,
Yeah,
but it's also just comfortable.
Sure. Now, that being said, you catch me walking around the house, I'll look like I'm in a dress or a tent or something.
It's pretty funny. I saw a picture of somebody in some Jenkos the other day.
Yeah.
And I like the memory I had was like, oh, that would be nice right now. Just so much leg room for activities. You could be dancing down here. Nobody knows.
Like if I had my druthers, our official uniform would be sweatpants and a hoodie. That would be my life. I'd live every day in that way.
Yeah, I could see it.
Or a long sleeve tee.
Right.
That's my life.
As long as I'm allowed to like choose the color of my sweatpants, because I feel like gray sweatpants is just like, I don't know.
I got blue ones. I got black ones. I got gray ones.
That's the most bum look. You know, like if I could do like a brown or not brown sweatpants is just I've given up.
Bring me my brown pants.
Bring me my brown pants.
Yes.
But like a nice pair of black sweatpants, you know, I can see that, you know. So it doesn't look like I'm wearing like a full I
have a pair of green ones. I got a red pair. Yeah, I got a few pairs. Yeah. I got one that my wife calls Cookie Monster because it's that Cookie Monster blue.
Nice.
I'm not gonna lie. I live in. I'm like jeans.
See, now I want to get Mike like one of those full body like jogging suits like the Guidos wear.
I would like a Sopranos-esque.
Yeah, I feel like you could rock like a velvet.
You know what? I would like that look.
Velvet jogging suit.
I would not mind that look. I could get down.
Velour from neck to ankle.
I'm down with that. And but if I'm going to complete the look
with the pinstripes,
well, what I'll do
black
is
stripes.
I'll have it zipped down to about mid thing, and then I got a medallion or some kind of gold chain.
The wrist atop a nice via chest hair.
Exactly. You got to complete that look, and I got to be honest. I need to be hairier. I have some chest hair, but my arm and leg situation. You got to be a hairy dude to pull that look
But
off.
if you're rocking a jogging suit, arm and leg hair aren't going to matter. And I feel like this is a good authority.
Yes and no, because to be real, you got to have the hair peeking out the bottom.
Oh yeah,
to get it real. Like you got to be so hairy, hair's coming out.
You know what we'll do?
Of the
we'll sleeve you up like they do the fake
hair,
tats.
fake hair.
Yeah, we'll Ed Hardy you up with some arm hair.
You need to be overly hairy almost, and to do that. But you know what? Now, don't get me wrong. The colors have to be right because I'm not down like a red one. No, but
no, I'm thinking like maroon.
Maybe like a dark maroon,
like a royal red
or a hunter green.
Okay,
or like a darker green.
But see, now we're getting into smoking jacket territory.
No. That velour color it's almost this color green,
right?
And then that maroon you're talking about. That's the because of course of Adidas logo. An Adidas logo,
right.
You know, that's the way to go. But no, I would like some weird ones, like light gray with black trim.
Okay,
I would rock that look.
I could see that. Like not necessarily in my head.
Yeah.
It's not a light gray. It's more of like a
silver.
There's no other. I can't think of a way to describe it. Like golf shirt gray.
Okay.
Like that kind of slate gray.
Yeah.
That's the color that I'm seeing.
Yeah, with a black trim,
yeah.
a black
that's
accent piece.
That's the ticket.
That's right. Fashionista.
There you
Mike
go.
Winters. All right, let's get the hour going before I really mess up my wardrobe.
Before we break into just full fashionista mode.
Guy's got a tracksuit, a cabbie hat, and a hockey jersey. What's this guy doing?
And a tabby. Fancy that.
All right, we're going to play our interview we had with the Roswell Public Library on Friday here in just a few. Before we do that, though, let's get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Things look pretty good today. We do have a slight chance of an afternoon shower or thunderstorm. About 83 for the high in Roswell today. We'll be up around 90 in Carlsbad and 87 for Artesia. A shower possible this evening and then just cloudy overnight with low 60s. A slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm again on Friday, mid 80s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 63 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 78% with winds out of the north at 8 miles per hour. Today we are looking at a 20% chance at afternoon showers. They're talking after 3 p.m. this afternoon. Otherwise mostly sunny. 86 for a high with southeast winds at around 5 miles per hour. 20% chance at rain tonight, mainly before 9 p.m. Partly cloudy. Overnight low 62 degrees with south winds at around 5 miles per hour. 20% chance at showers for the afternoon tomorrow. Mostly sunny, otherwise with a high of 85 for your Friday. Winds will be out of the south 5 to 10 miles per hour. And, of course, because it's Football Friday, they bumped up our rain chances Friday night to 40%. Mostly cloudy, overnight low of 63 with south winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Sunny and 89 for you Saturday. South winds at around 5 miles per hour and mid-90s on Sunday. Sunny and 94, and then 93 on Monday, but that back down into the upper 80s, 87 on Tuesday. So not too long in the 90s, just a little, just tickling, then we'll go back down. All right, 8:25, we're going to go ahead and take a 4-minute break. Then we're going to play our interview we had with Rosie Ortiz from the Roswell Public Library. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Coach, question for you over here.
Coach, can you talk about the latest trade rumors?
Absolutely. Right now, you can get big money for your trade at Roswell Ford.
Start your season with a win at Roswell Ford. Right now, we need trades. So if you're making payments on your current vehicle and want out early, Roswell Ford will do whatever it takes to help you escape from your trade. Even if you owe thousands more than it's worth, regardless of make, miles, or condition. With 0% APR and no payments for 90 days. Worried about your credit? Don't sweat it. Roswell Ford has partnered with more aggressive lenders who will push to approve your credit with great terms, with good credit, no credit, or even if your credit is less than perfect. All roads lead to huge American-made savings, more for your trade, and a better buying experience. Get on board at Roswell Ford, 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell. Call 575-623-3673 or online at roswellford.com. 0 APR for 48 months is $20.83 per thousand finance. Interest accrues from date of sale. Subject to lender approval on select vehicles. Offers not combined.
When you or a loved one need medical transport, cost and ability to pay shouldn't get in the way. That's why Trans-Aero Medevac, through the generous support of the Written in Red Foundation and the PY Foundation, provide air ambulance memberships to the residents of Eddy County at no out-of-pocket cost. As an Eddy County resident, as long as you're flown by Trans-Aero Medevac, Trans-Aero will accept your insurance or third-party payment with no additional out-of-pocket expense. Best of all, as a resident of Eddy County, you're automatically enrolled, free of charge. Because when minutes matter, financial burden should be the last thing on anyone's mind. You have a choice. Be sure to request Trans-Aero, a streamlined, personal, patient, and family-friendly air ambulance service. Flown for free thanks to the partnership from the City of Artesia and Trans-Aero Medevac. Life support by air.
Hi, everyone. This is Melanie from Glenn's Furniture. When was the last time you looked forward to sleep? Let's be honest here. You know a restful night's sleep has more health benefits than you consciously think about during the day. Here at Glenn's, we carry Serta mattresses, and they've been in the business for more than 90 years. Choosing one can be hard, but I want you to know we have your back. Come see us at Glenn's on the corner of Union and Alameda in Roswell, where delivery is free since 1953.
It's one of those things we've all had on our mind. No matter how much we want to ignore it, we all know that wisdom teeth can cause pain, teeth crowding, and even infection. Hi, this is Dr. Sarah Usher with Carabelli Dental. I am proud to be a part of an outstanding team who understands your concerns when considering wisdom teeth removal. Call us today and let our staff walk you through the process so that you are confident and prepared for your wisdom teeth removal. And don't worry, we have sedation dentistry options so that you can rest and feel at ease.
Come see the team at Carabelli Dental. Call 575-622-4455.
Attention high school students and parents. Now is the time to make your plans to come visit the most affordable university in the Southwest, Eastern New Mexico University. ENMU is hosting our annual high school open house preview day on Saturday, October 18th. Come learn about scholarships, discover majors, talk with current students and faculty, and win some great prizes. Sign up today at enmu.edu/open house. Eastern New Mexico University. Student success That's what we're about.
Pecos Valley Broadcasting has immediate entry and experience level and radio and live stream video sales executive positions open in Artesia and Carlsbad. You'll work with our amazing team to build and maintain accounts and dive into advertising and marketing promotions. Experience in sales is preferred and bilingual opportunities are available. Base guarantee plus bonuses and commissions. Apply now. Email your details or resume to hireme@pvbcradio.com. Take your career to the next level with Pecos Valley Broadcasting, an equal opportunity employer.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Linen can absorb up to 20 times its weight in moisture before it feels damp. Now, you don't have to get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom anymore. Here's Mike Winters.
In studio this morning from the Roswell Public Library, Rosie Ortiz back with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
How's things at the library this morning?
Everything's good.
Good. Busy.
Busy, yeah.
I don't know. Obviously school. So you guys are in your kind of your back to school routine with your things each week. But do you get an uptick with the air races of people just coming into town and nosing into the library saying, "Hey, just checking things out"?
Yes, a little bit. Yeah, we have had a few people like, "Oh, we like your library. We just came in."
Yeah.
And so we have
Some
had
people
a few.
just come seeing the sights.
Mm-hmm.
Come check out the library.
Yeah, I still have people walking down Main Street too. So
we're welcome to check out a book, but it better be back in 2 weeks.
well, they can read it in the library.
That's right. We can come read here. Yeah, but because you can't wait till next year when you come back to return that book.
No.
We're gonna be some fines waiting on you. But I was just curious if you did see a little uptick on that.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it's interesting to see how the tourists are coming in.
Good. Of course, for folks who don't know, there's always stuff going on almost every day at the library as far as activities and things, whether it's a story time or stuff with the younger kids or teen activities for the older kids on a Friday or Saturday or weekend stuff for adults.
Yes.
There's stuff going on. Movie nights on Fridays. There's pretty much just about every day something happening at the library.
Yeah, we actually have new programs for teens and for the older elementary kids. So we have a book club for the older elementary kids. I'd say about like third grade and up. And it's the first and third Wednesdays of the month.
Okay.
And so I know they get out early release. So parents, you're like, where do I leave the kids?
Sure.
Just drop them off at the library.
We got plenty of stuff to do at the library.
We'll read a book. We'll discuss the book. And we'll have fun. We'll have some snacks.
Make some friends.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then on the first and third Saturdays of the month, we have a manga anime club.
Okay.
So same thing, we'll read, we'll talk about it, we'll watch some anime sometimes. So, maybe we'll have a fun craft.
Sure.
And, 12 and up. So, your kids like manga, like anime,
You probably have a lot of artist types who like to draw that do.
Yeah.
I think people that like anime generally like to also draw and.
Yeah, or at least have an appreciation that anime, some of the animation there is beautiful. Same thing with manga. They've got some gorgeous.
Yeah, it's art form.
Yeah, and not just, we'll do some graphic novels too and, comics. But
sure. Well, the storylines get kind of adult sometimes depending on.
Well, yes, they do, but we will stick to teen-friendly stuff. Yeah.
But yeah, it's really a cross-genre type medium for this type of stuff. So.
It's
something
growing.
checking out. Put it this way, a lot of kids are into that type of stuff. So if you want to know what your kids are into, a lot of them are into some form of anime of some way, shape.
Absolutely, and then we'll always let you know what we're reading, so you know ahead of time.
Oh yeah, everything.
They'll be reading,
But that way you're kind of, wow, this is unique art and unique way.
It is,
and to be honest, understand that too.
Mm-hmm.
That just because it looks like this doesn't mean it's the same level as some of the more adult themed stuff you see on other TV or movies or whatever. It's just like other stuff. There's
just
age appropriate of everything.
Everything, yes, you have to be age appropriate. Even like The Simpsons is.
I'll say South Park's on TV.
Yeah,
and I don't know if a lot of you want your kids watching some of that.
Yeah,
that
animation doesn't necessarily mean kids. But yeah, so and then that way what is teen friendly, kid friendly, as opposed to something like South Park.
Yeah,
that is not.
It's that's very adult humor there. But,
very adult,
but definitely something to check out. And maybe that's something you can do as a family. Maybe maybe you were into some anime and your kids, and you can do it together and kind of
read it
this is for kids, but use it as a chance to connect with your kids afterwards.
Yeah, for the kid book club, we're reading The Last Kids on Earth. It's the monster apocalypse, very fun, and we do have a mom that's reading alongside.
Oh, cool!
Their little boy, and it's a fun story.
Sure. I hope they get to have conversations over dinner over there.
Yeah.
That's cool. So please come by and sign
We're
up for
here,
these
yeah.
things. And I imagine every few weeks there's a new book or a new
Yes.
project that they're working on.
We're not rushing through it. I don't want kids to feel like it's homework, so
Sure.
we'll take it at
At their pace.
Yeah. But yes, the aim is to change it up every month. If not, we will change it up.
Ish.
Yeah.
Month-ish.
Yeah.
Good deal. What else do we want to put on people's radar?
Well, tomorrow we have the cooking clubs.
Okay.
And we will be doing spiced Indian flatbread.
Oh, nice.
So come on down, get some
You get to eat
flatbread.
usually.
Yeah. You cook it, wait a little bit, and then you can eat it. And it's
Yeah.
always delicious. Yeah.
And then you can go home and practice that weekend on your family there and see
Yeah,
make some fry bread.
Delicious. Yeah.
I feel like that's a good skill to have around here. If you can make fry bread, you can entertain a lot. You know what I mean? You can do a lot of good meals with fry bread or variations of meals with fry bread instead of something else. Yeah.
If you have, if you like to cook and you can cook bread, that's a good thing to have in your cooking toolbox.
Yeah, absolutely.
And every little,
Especially if you like artisan-y, because to me, fry bread feels like an artisan type, homemade, like something grandma made or something. You know what I mean?
Definitely, yeah. It pulls at the heartstrings, the lemon strings, yeah.
Yeah. So if you have that skill, just saying, you might find the love of your life because of your ability to make fry bread.
Exactly.
And you learned at the library on a Saturday morning.
Exactly. And it's early morning. You still get to go home and enjoy it.
I found my mate because of fry bread at the library.
Yeah. Sounds like a romance novel.
That's a happy story.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. That's a happy story right there. So good deal. What else we want to talk about?
We put in a new story time. It's Thursdays at 5, and it's aimed again for most of our story times are aimed for the preschoolers. This one's slightly older, and it's bilingual, mostly Spanish.
Excellent.
So we've been getting a lot of families with that they want their kids to learn Spanish. All the story, not all, but most of them.
It's an amazing idea. Yeah.
I'd say 90% of the stories
I don't care what your
are in
first
Spanish.
tongue is. Go to both. Go to the English. Go to the
Yeah.
Spanish. The earlier, the better. Kids are sponges at that age.
Yeah.
The likelihood of them picking up that second language if they're learning it at that age versus when they're in high school is so much better. Trust me, I took 3 years in Spanish. I'm dumb as a rock in Spanish. If they would have hit me when I was like 4, this would have been amazing.
Yeah. And then it's Miss Diana. She always has an awesome craft.
Yeah.
So
She's so fun with the kids.
She is. She's great. She's got that talent.
Yeah.
She's like our own personal Ms. Rachel. Like she's really good.
She's very crafty, very creative. That's the word.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She's got that mind. She's always got, some craft bubbling in her head.
And she's
really
just
good.
the nicest lady on the planet.
Yeah, the kid's clever. She's great.
Yeah, like to be honest.
Uh-huh.
Does she ever get mad? Like I don't even know. Can't even picture what she's like mad. She just seems so nice.
No, she's really patient. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like,
sometimes,
does she ever? Like, I think she's unflappable. Like.
I think for the most part.
I'm sure there's somebody. There's some kid or spouse or someone parent that can get her going in a heartbeat. But I don't see it.
She, sometimes the kids get crazy or the kid throws a tantrum.
Yeah.
And she's really good about going there and calming the child down a lot better than the parents. She
has that
she was
nurturing
born with
skill.
that. Yes, with
some
that
people just have it.
Gift, that skill, whatever.
But I could never picture her mad or nothing. I'm just like, I'm
I've
not sure
ever
she
seen-
does.
I'm
She's a
sure
human
she's kind
being,
of frustrated, but she has a good way
boy,
of either
howdy.
dealing with it or hiding it.
Although people like her, I don't think I want to see her mad. Like that could be. It could be hell sick coming, or you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know.
I think with her,
opened
it's
up
more like-
I opened up Pandora's box. Look out!
I think where there's more, you don't want to disappoint her. So
That's
when
right.
you see that, you're like, oh.
You don't want to see her when she's angry. But I kid. She's such a great lady. So it's amazing with the kids. And we always have fun with her when she comes on.
Great,
Because she's always like, "Did I do great? You did amazing. You did it." Yeah. But anyway, yes, come out and bring the kids and just turn her loose with her, and Maria will have them.
Yes, if you want that Miss Rachel experience live, Miss Diana is great.
Oh yeah, and she loves, especially like, of course, we'll be talking Dia de los Muertos and all that here before we know it again.
Yes,
that's kind of her jam, and
it is.
and educating folks on the stories and the reasons behind much of the pageantry that is the Dia de los Muertos celebrations.
The history, the traditions, how they all started. Yeah,
she's very very good at giving that, and doing that. Library does they do a lot of great things. That's just one of them, and Well, I have to say we're right around that corner on that. It'll be coming up here in about a month. So
it's one of our bigger events, and she'll be talking about it next month here.
Yeah. Well, and this is something that for folks, go to the library. I know you can get a digital version, but I personally say go to the front desk at the library, and every month you can pick up the activities calendar. And it's usually a 2-month calendar. Like one side will have the current month, and usually the next month will have the next month on there.
For this new one, I think we have up to December.
Okay, so it's actually going out a couple months here.
Yeah.
And then you can see all the activities, including these weekly story times and preschool and the cooking weeks and the and when say the 4-H craft club does their things, or the master gardeners do their weekend,
the chess club,
all of that is on the calendar. That way you can line up and do it. And 99.9999% of all this stuff's free of charge. Most of it you can just show up. A couple of times they ask you pre-register if there's like an author speak or something like that. They do ask you pre-register, but it's free.
Yeah.
But 99 times of times it's kind of come as you are, come first serve, or kind of things like that. Pretty much any one of these, like the cooking event tomorrow, it's just come on down and be ready to learn and eat fry bread. You know?
Exactly. Yeah. Last month we did have a pre-register, but we were working with Dion, so it was like a set. They could only bring so many. Okay. But those are rare.
Sure.
But tomorrow just come on down, and as long as we'll stay there as long as the ingredients last. So.
Absolutely. And then of course, as we do kind of shift to the holiday months here pretty quick, there are always events. Excuse me, hiccups all of a sudden.
No worries.
I just came out of nowhere. But they've got events that go on. Around the Christmas holiday, around, the Halloween, Thanksgiving. There's New Year's. They always do their,
our New Year's
festival.
Festival.
Your New Year's festival. These are all just part of the. They're all coming around the corner. So get ready to be back, participate in those events.
Yes,
too.
sir. The Yuletide Festival is in December. I believe it's the third December in. The third Saturday in December.
Third December and Saturday.
Yeah, I was like the third Saturday in December, and then a week and a half later, it's our New Year's festival.
Yeah, so there's a lot going on during that.
And then in January, we will have our tea party, which will be a Hello Kitty theme.
Okay.
So
I think Maria goes crazy on that one too, doesn't she? On the tea party a little bit.
This one's going to be one of our pages is a real Hello Kitty aficionado.
Oh, so she's got the reins on this one. I'm pretty sure we were talking about tea parties with Maria a year or so ago. And she was like, "Oh, I got this whole thing planned." She had it down.
Yeah.
It was like an event. But anyway.
Yeah.
But please, get involved with these things. Sign up or come by and participate. And don't forget, too, about all the resources that the library can help you with. If you've got, say you want to, do ebooks and things like that, you can go online to the website and download with a library card in good standing. You can go download ebooks and things that you can have, and technically not set foot in the librry to do these things.
Yeah.
So if you got a road trip coming up, or you just, you like to hear ebooks while you're driving to work and run about your day, you can get, keep up to date there. Don't forget other online resources, other music and periodicals, movies. There's some of that access through the website too.
We have, Libby is the app for the ebooks and audiobooks. We also have Comics Plus. You can download that too, or you can get it through our database in our website.
Okay.
And that is, again, it's, comics, manga, some picture books. The wonderful thing about that is depending on whatever age range you have on your library card, that is what you'll get. So if your 5-year-old has their own card,
they get only up to the
and the
so
teens,
it's got parental controls built in already.
So now if your child, you have one parent, or one card under the parent's name for the whole household,
that's gonna open up.
So if you let them on, just be aware that it's gonna give them the full access.
Another reason to give your child their own library card, so you can monitor exactly the types of material they're exposed to.
They're not getting anything above.
Does it work on spouses too? Like if you got a spouse, you're like, this person's not handling anything above 10.
You can tell them just click on the middle grade ones.
There you go.
Yeah.
Just check it. Some of us need to be wrangled.
Yeah. So you can do all that at home. No worries about are they late?
Absolutely.
Did we miss them? It
you can do all that. And of course, tutoring help, too. There's programs on there to help if you've got for college and high school.
Through our databases.
Tutoring and things, extra help for school and education.
Absolutely.
There's and don't forget, too, homeschoolers and things. They've got all types of STEM and different little packets and things that the library can, and you check out just like library books free of charge. And you can use these, incorporate them into your lessons at home, or if you're just wanting to work with your kids some more on stuff,
if they're interested in rocks, we have stuff on rocks.
Yeah, if you want to do your own thing, or rocketry or whatever, they got all kinds of different little kits and packets that they can check out and partake in. One other thing, I know we're kind of getting out of the summer season, but don't forget that they also have the New Mexico Department of Tourism passes too.
Yes.
That there's like 15 or I don't remember the exact number, different places around the state that you can go up to 6 people get in for free.
Yes.
Examples are Lincoln. If you go to Lincoln, you can get into the courthouse and all that for free with this pass. There's some of the museums in Albuquerque and Santa Fe that you can get into. Las Cruces, I think the Museum of the Horse or the Cowboy or something over there. They have
the Space
Museum in Alamogordo. You can get and there's a couple parks. I think.
And I think also like Fort Sumner. I
think.
For the ability to get stuff.
Basically, if you're driving around the state, maybe you're you got family in the Four Corners or whatever. You could go check this pass out, you only could check it out for a week, and you can't renew it or anything. And it's first come, first serve.
Yeah.
Good news is they have a stack of these passes. They rarely run out. And
so it's a good one if Thanksgiving you're going driving or Christmas.
But the smart move is check it out the day before you leave.
Yeah.
That way, by the time, unless you're gone more than a week, then you might want to make some arrangements here. But that way you can do it and then come back when you return and
absolutely.
Do all that. But it's a great, and I don't care what you say. I mean, if I know, for instance, if you go into Lincoln, I think they charge about $10 a head to get into that thing.
I'm not sure,
and it might be a little bit more on that. And so I'm just saying, you're 6 people, $60 right there. I don't know about you. I'd like to save $60. On going on. That's lunch. Well, part of a lunch nowadays, but you know what I mean.
I mean,
lunch for one.
But for sure, and if you want to do the touristy thing in Santa Fe, Albuquerque, all those they cost
free
money,
of charge.
So,
Some of those you're paying $20-$30 a head, and you're getting that free of charge up to 6 people, and it's really
it's the whole family.
And all you gotta do is go in and ask for it.
Yep, say it, and if you don't have a card, we'll sign you up for a card and check you.
That's free of charge too. And then, now you got the whole world. And then, by the way, yes, you can walk into the library and still check out a book, or just browse the shelves and find something that your next joy read or whatever,
too.
or a magazine, or pick up a newspaper and read it if you'd rather do that, or if you need to get on a computer and do some computer work, or maybe you're not a computer person, or tax season. We'll be talking about that before you know it. You can come get your documents and all that good stuff from the library, like you normally do, and by the way. If you want to learn computer skills and stuff, they have classes throughout the thing on that
for
stuff.
all our older citizens, we have something called Senior Planet.
Okay.
And it's Saturdays at 10:30, and it's for those senior people that aren't as comfortable with technology, with computers, and we teach you.
Bring us your questions, your quandaries on computers.
We have we had a class on how to, starting to understand AI.
Okay.
How to choose the correct device, laptop, computer for you. So it's every, Saturday at 10:30.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's a lot of abilities to dupe you nowadays, so you got to be on your toes.
Yeah, how to set up an email. So. If you're like, I don't understand anything, we got the class for you.
It's a great, and it probably goes as basic as you want. You're like, what's Facebook? All right, let's get on. We'll tell you what Facebook is.
I mean, we had how to set up an email account, because without an email, you can't do anything.
Right, if you're
online.
never on it, without an email, it's literally like a driver's license. You can't navigate in the world without one, and without an email address on the internet, you're pretty much dead in the water. So,
most accounts require an email address. So,
and then they get it. Well, shoot. It's going to be getting in a world where you're not even going to be able to buy lunch or nothing without email. Because, now everyone's kind of steering to app worlds, which is great in, convenience-wise and stuff. But the days of you just walking up to a register and saying, I'd like a hamburger, fries, and a drink, or now you got to go through an app and talk to a thing to get to it to come here. And so we're just in that world now. You're going to have to.
Or if you want it cheap, because I'm sure you'll still have that, but really expensive.
Yeah. Either that or grow your own garden and live off the grid.
And we have books for that too.
And it'll teach you how at the library. Absolutely. But yes, please don't forget the library is your resource for everything when it comes to getting extra education or extra opportunities for your children, for your own personal growth and things. If you're thinking about, looking for resources, it's all at the library. It's right there. It is the internet before there was the internet.
Yes. And if you want to come in just to cool down, you certainly can.
Yeah. And if you never liked those Dewey Decimal Card they got rid of those years ago.
Yeah.
You don't have to have those anymore.
No.
Although I missed them.
I love the little
I love the
actual cabinets or little drawers.
To be honest, I'm better navigating that. Like I'd rather walk in and that's what I need. Pull it out. There it is. Okay, it's right at there it is. To me that makes sense. Nowadays, I'm like, it's too high tech.
Still there. It's just all digital.
It's just all digital. I just want the card. I just want to pull the thing out.
Yeah.
I
so
hear
come
those
to
are.
Senior Planet so you can.
There you go to update. I can. I just don't like it.
Yeah.
I'm old man screams at lawn. Get off my lawn. This is me. I do it. I begrudgingly do it.
Back in my day, we had a high beam on the floor and you hit it with your butt. It was good.
That's me.
We got all of that for everyone.
That's right. But yes, please come alive and come out to these events too. Like tomorrow, come out there and have fun and cook some fry bread and
food.
learn.
Tomorrow, we have go get some art because we are second Saturdays with the museum. We got there, get some food.
Oh yeah, it is that this weekend too. Yeah, I forget about that. The museum's gonna be there, so it's a little extra.
They're at the library now.
Yeah. Till we can get their museum back up and running. So, which
hopefully soon.
Hopefully soon. They took a hit with that flooding.
Yeah, they did.
So, but a lot of the art was protected, which is at the end of the day, that's the big thing. And we can replace buildings, the artwork.
Yeah,
not so easy. Yeah. So that's the blessing in disguise.
Yes.
Or at least the stuff that did get hit, they were able to mostly
salvage
or repair, restore, whatever they call that.
Yeah.
The conservers get in there and do their thing.
Their magic.
Which, if you want to learn about them, you can find a book about them in the library.
Exactly.
But and then don't forget too, they got those fun nights. When they want to play Legos or do something. That's stuff to do with the family. That's stuff that you can go with the kids. And I get it. Adults like to play with Legos too. You can with the kids. You get an excuse. You get to do these.
We have adult drawing nights on Tuesdays, I think. So if you just want to come and doodle.
Yeah.
Come on down.
Yeah, they still do the adult coloring and stuff.
Yes.
So if you like doing that,
Tuesdays I think at 4:30. So
yeah,
just come on down
that's been popular for a few years now, and
it's a good mantra, relaxation.
It's a good way to be artistic when you're not artistic, if that makes sense. Like I'm not very good at being I'm good at talking. I'm bad at drawing and doing like that. My creative stinks there, but I like to think I can do it. So coloring is kind of the happy medium, where it's like I didn't draw it, but I can stay in the lines. I can get detailed enough to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's like you said, it's a good little sort of mini therapy. Just
makes people like me feel like I'm artistic too.
Exactly. Anyone can do art.
Yes.
Anyone, whether it's the skill level.
Yes.
Different, but everyone and anyone should
Stick
do art.
figures are art too.
They are. I'm a stick figure person myself, so yes, it's art.
I've seen whole cartoons with stick figures. I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the flip book with the stick figure. Yeah.
See?
That's art. Very good. Is there anything else we want to cover? Did we pretty much get it all?
I think we covered pretty much everything.
Good deal. So if you have, but again, come on by if you have any questions. If you don't have a card or anything, please come by, sign up, and of course your children as well too. We'd mentioned earlier, obviously you're the parent. You decide when it's appropriate for your child to be a library card. But I always like to think of when you get your child that first wallet or pocketbook or whatever, that's usually a good time to do that because they don't really have anything to put in there yet.
But they can put their library card. Yeah.
They'll be putting the credit cards and the bills that go with them in there soon. And so, a library card's like that first real thing they can use that's they can go into public and flash and use and feel like adults with. And so that's always, I find, it's about that time usually a good time. But
they get a kick out of it, especially with the self-checkout machines. They're like,
Yeah, and make it a big deal. And that's going to embrace that reading in your kids.
Mm-hmm.
Make it fun. Make it a big adventure. Make it something that they crave to do. And, that's how you get kids reading. I don't care what it is. Yeah. Maybe pick a day. All right, Tuesdays after school, that's a day we all go to the library and get new books for the week or whatever it is. I think every family with school-age kids, and even without, I think that's a good idea. Go down there and pick and maybe a week's too big. Go 2 weeks. Whatever it is your family it takes for them to read a book or whatever. Yeah, make that a regular part of your routine, whatever that is. And so,
that's a good
and just go and say, hey, and you basically turn them loose. And that's the great thing about the library. Okay, teens, here's your section. Go anything in this section, go nuts. Here's the younger youth section, whatever color books or books that look, because they're looking at pictures. The picture books, the ones that strike your fancy, grab it and have fun with it.
Yeah. And
now if your child is not good with books, like they rip them, then you supervise every step. But if they're old enough to kind of pick their own and maybe even do a little of that, or at least understand the pictures and the story and starting that early stages of reading. Yeah, let's.
If they're babies, we've got the board books, which are pretty hard to tear.
Yeah.
So.
Although.
I mean, not impossible.
Challenge accepted for some of these.
Not impossible, but pretty hard.
Some kids are like, challenge accepted. But so please utilize these tools with your kids and your family.
That's what we're here for. That's what,
And it's all free. It doesn't cost you a thing. It's all you need is to go in there and get a library card. That's it. And it don't cost you a dime either.
It does not.
Just need a water bill or
something
with proof of address that you live here. That's about it. That's all there is to it. And prove that's your kid.
Yes.
Good deal. Well, thank you as always.
Thank you for having us.
And we'll see you guys in next time.
Yes.
And of course, folks, don't forget, come on by. And then don't forget, you can go to the city's website, roswell-nm.gov. There's a tab on there for the library. That's probably the easiest way. There is a direct link, but it's like -405. I don't remember the thing. It's library. So just go to the city's website, click on the library tab.
And then we're on social media as well.
Yeah.
So find us
primarily
Facebook.
Instagram and Facebook, right? Yeah. And that's a great way. I recommend you like and follow, because that way it's kind of like the calendar, whereas you get to see upcoming. Don't forget this Saturday is this event or this thing. But also too is like when they have those Lego nights or those things.
Yeah.
They put the pictures up of some of the pride. Who knows? Maybe you might see your work up there on the pictures up there too.
So yeah, absolutely.
But definitely get involved there. So, Rosa, appreciate the visit as always, and we'll see you in a couple, or I guess next month.
Next month.
It was a couple weeks, but I guess technically that's a couple weeks. So good deal, and stay dry tomorrow. It might get rain and then cool.
We'll see.
Yeah. So, good deal. Hey, tomorrow's a rainy day. Good day to read a book in the library.
There you go.
Just saying.
Get some bread.
Yeah.
Get out of the rain.
Yeah, come in, smell fried bread. It's like, all right, muster up some coffee and you're good to go.
Exactly.
Thank you, Rose.
Thank you.
Bush Appliance presents Adventures with Spinal Tap.
So do you play? I mean, do you actually use all of these Whirlpool washers and dryers?
Well, I mean, I play them or use them. I cherish them, really.
Mm-hmm.
This Whirlpool dryer right here, this one is top of the heat. No question about it. Look at the flames on that one.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's quite unbelievable, really. This one is just perfect right here. Listen.
Now, when you say perfect, I mean...
Shh. Listen.
I don't hear anything.
Just listen to it, mate.
I'm not hearing anything.
Well, I mean, you would if it were broken. You'd be hearing it go, gitchy, 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 gitchy. And you could go have a bite and still be going. Gitchy, gitchy, gitchy.
This has been Adventures in Spinal Tap, brought to you by Bush Appliance. Who are you going to call? Bush Appliance in Roswell. Stop by 111 West Country Club Road in Roswell, or call 575-622-6390. We could be at 110 West Country Club Road, but our address goes to 11.
Over the last few months, there have been several tragedies in our country. Assassinations, school shootings, hateful speech, and unfortunately innocent lives taken, with those around often turning a blind eye to the violence. Are you tired, discouraged, or maybe even a little angry? Are you looking for answers but can't seem to find any? Do you want more than this life seems to offer? People attempt to deal with upheaval with a variety of distractions, from drugs and alcohol to working more to whatever can take their mind off the chaos. But is that the answer? In a letter to new Christians, the Apostle Paul gives them an answer. He writes that Christ is all all and in all. In his letters, he explains that our Lord and Savior is the only answer to this fallen world. Nothing else can fill the void. Nothing else will give you the peace that you're craving. If you feel unsatisfied with this life, only Christ can fill that need. Come join us as we try to figure out how to navigate through these changing times.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
In a medical emergency, every second counts. Artesia General Hospital's emergency department is open 24/7, staffed with highly trained professionals ready to provide life-saving care when you need it most. Don't wait. When minutes matter, trust Artesia General Hospital. Quality emergency care close to home. Learn more at artesiageneral.com.
Attention high school students and parents. Now is the time to make your plans to come visit the most affordable university in the Southwest, Eastern New Mexico University. ENMU is hosting our annual high school open house preview day on Saturday, October 18th. Come learn about scholarships, discover majors, talk with current students and faculty, and win some great prizes. Sign up today at enmu.edu/open house. Eastern New Mexico University. Student success. That's what we're about.
The president says the deal includes billions for research and development, a range of cutting-edge tech.
Quantum computing, fusion, 6G, and civil nuclear energy, and align our nations through the approach of centered deregulation and innovation. And we're going to have a lot of deregulation and a tremendous amount of innovation. It's just happening.
The Prime Minister says the UK stands to benefit mightily.
We have huge new investments from NVIDIA, Nscale, OpenAI, Google, Salesforce, and many more, backing cutting-edge British jobs for years to come.
It's among the president's historic two-day state visit to the UK. Cost of borrowing will be coming down. The Fed approving a quarter-point cut in its benchmark interest rate, but it was not unanimous. President Trump's new Fed appointee was hoping for a larger cut.
Trump economic advisor Stephen Myron was a late addition to the Fed's Board of Governors this week, and he stood alone after the interest rate announcement. Myron was the only Fed policymaker who dissented from the decision to cut rates by a quarter of a point. Myron preferred a larger half-point cut, but Fed Chairman Jerome Powell said later there wasn't very much support for the bigger size cut among Fed officials. Greg Clugston, Washington.
There were American flags, salutes, and some tears along the route of a police procession in York County, Pennsylvania yesterday, honoring the 3 law enforcement officers shot to death while following up on a domestic-related incident. 2 other officers shot and wounded. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 126 points, NASDAQ ahead 234. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Attention investors with a 401k IRA.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
Before his death in a Russian Arctic penal colony.
Navalny explains Alexei had returned to his cell in the Russian prison and had convulsions in his face and upper limbs. In the medical office, they laid him on a couch. By this time, Alexei was already unconscious. Navalny, who crusaded against official corruption and staged massive anti-Kremlin protests as President Vladimir Putin's fiercest foe, died in the Arctic penal colony in February 2024. He was serving a 19-year sentence that he believed to be politically motivated. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
Israeli troops and tanks continue to push deeper into Gaza City as more people run for their lives. Strikes cut off phone and internet services across the region. The Israeli military says Air Force and artillery units struck the city more than 150 times in just the past few days ahead of ground troops moving in. Townhall.com. An e-commerce giant is stepping up to the plate for its employees.
Amazon says that it is making a $1 billion investment to raise wages and lower the cost of health care plans for its U.S. fulfillment and transportation workers. The average pay is increasing to more than $23 per hour. Full-time employees, on average, will see their pay increase $1,600 per year. Amazon also says that it is lowering the cost of its entry-level health care plan to $5 per week and $5 for co-pays. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Starbucks workers taking legal action against their employer, saying it violated the law when it changed its dress code, but refused to reimburse employees who had to buy new clothing. The employees are backed by the union organizing Starbucks workers. They filed class action lawsuits in state court in Illinois and Colorado. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel and what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome. I do mean welcome to hour number 3.
Tres Inviernos
of Mornings with Mike Winters right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy not quite Friday. Almost.
We're so close. You can feel it. Feel it right here in the subcockles of your soul.
That's right. Not quite in the cockles.
No. The subcockle region.
In the subcockle, yeah. It's kind of bubbling. like when you put that can of chunky soup in it, and it ain't hot yet, but the first bubble pops up, and you're like, oh.
You got your upper dorsimus, your lower tineus, and it's somewhere down here in your subcockle area.
I thought they're near your heart. The cockles of the heart. I don't know.
I keep mine in my right wrist.
Maybe we need to get some doctors.
Yeah, I probably should.
Where are the cockles, sir?
Tell me more about the humors. The 4 humors. Like before medicine was medicine, that's what all doctors worked off of, was the humors of the body.
That's humorous.
It is. rather humorous.
Cheese City, here we come. I don't know. If we, I go back to the game operation. You know, that's all my medical knowledge right there is operation. So I want that. I think that bone that's shaped like a wrench I got, it's been hurting me.
The people who make the game operation really should, like who make the actual board itself, need to be drug out into the street and shot. You're putting so much more space under the container where like I'm allowed to reach like that wrench, the one you bring up, for example, that's impossible. That thing slides under
it goes deep
into some kind of weird compartment of the body that there's no way tweezers could actually get to. You have to jostle the body, and you're not supposed to do that in medicine. At least I don't think so. I've never seen anybody shake a body to get a body part to get over into the correct slot.
I have yet to watch a game of Operation played where more than like 2 parts were pulled out.
Really?
Yeah. Every other time, either we just have a band of people that suck at Operation, or I think it's lack of patience, because I'm like, look, I can get the easy 1 or 2, and then I'm done. Like, that hard thing is impossible.
Well,
there's a couple that were just impossible.
You want to know how to watch a game of Operation to completion? Have the two I know. This is
no,
something
I don't.
you've always wanted. This is actually on his bucket list, believe it or not. What you do is you strap both of them to electric diodes so that every time they shock the patient, they themselves receive an electrical shock. That you will finish a game. You will pay attention.
That game will get thrown out the window. That's what's going to happen that game. Yes. I've never...
That's the way to enjoy Operation, is to know that when you mess up, you're going to get messed up too.
So is the game done whenever all the body parts are empty? I didn't even know. I never got that far.
Well, it's based on cards. Each player flips over a card, and that's a challenge with a certain amount of money. If you can achieve that
that's
organ,
how it went.
You get the money, and then the person with the most money at the end of the game.
Now that I think about it, I don't think I ever played the game like by the rules ever.
Right.
I think it was just me in the basement by myself, randomly trying to pull crap out of this body.
Let's do this now. Yes, kids. Before the internet, we just looked at shelves and said, "What can we do with what's on that?"
Yeah. Well, and I grew up in the era of the TV was my babysitter, so they would park me in front of the TV, or like my grandmother, like when I was young, like 4 or 5.
Right.
Like my grandmother, like they'd take me to my grandmother's like dark 30 while they went to work, and then and I would basically be left alone in front of the TV because my grandma goes back to bed till about 9 o'clock.
Right.
And then she made me my eggs, bologna, and sandwich. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
But when that was over, I was relegated to one of 2 areas for the rest of the day. It was, if it was nice out, the backyard.
Yeah.
If it wasn't, the basement. And so those were my playlands. And there was a lot of junk in the basement. And one of it was my stack of toys and hot mess. And there was some, to be honest, probably not even a complete set of Operation down there, because nothing I had was complete. I had the Death Star. It was missing pieces.
Nice.
I had...
but that's respectable that you had the Death Star.
Yes, I had it.
That's a good get.
I was the kid that I'd have the Death Star. Yeah, nowadays, you can get on eBay for a few $100, I think, for one of those things. But yeah, mine was destroyed. But I would literally have that thing going. I was also a fan of the Lincoln Logs. So I had Lincoln Logs also merged with Star Wars with Armory guys. Well, I had a whole world down there with hot mess of junk.
I was a fan of Kinects. I could never make Kinects work, but my friends could, and so I'd have them come over and build stuff, and I'd watch.
So I'm too young or too old for that.
It was like
I was a grown.
Lincoln
I had hair
Logs,
on things by the time those things showed
metal. But there were some really cool sets that Kinects had come out with.
Yeah,
that was my jam.
No, mine were Lincoln Logs. That was like way back in the day. That someone gave me a big old box. This was even pre the bucket or that can or whatever it was.
It was a can. Yeah, I had the can.
Yeah, no, it was a big old box of them, and I played with it. And then I had a series of Army stuff that I like. You know those little green Army men. Like I had them, and then gray German ones.
Right. And this is why the toys of yesteryear go hand in hand, because you could build up your Lincoln Log fortress and have your army men, defend it.
But then I also had other cool, like I had tanks. I had some really cool, like army tanks and stuff, and half tracks that go with those little green men you don't see so much anymore. I had a bunch of those. I had like this Navarone. I think it was called the Navarone Mountain or something. And it was, I think when it was new, it had a bunch of bells and whistles, but I had lost all that crap. So I just had this shell of a mountain that was kind of there, and it was my army. I had the whole world. Because I was by myself, because there was no other kids around. So yeah, at that point, And then, so I a lot of time by myself. I was drawing pictures for Captain 20.
I didn't...
Like, Romper Room and all that. Well, there was another show right after called Captain 20. And I used to draw pictures of Ferraris and flying cars. So they'd show it on the Captain 20 Kids Showcase. I had one or two make it.
Were you part of their kids club or whatever?
Not to brag, but I had a few art pieces make it up on the Captain 20 gallery.
Did they have like a kids club where you could like have your birthday shouted out?
Yeah, I think they did. Yeah, they had some that effect.
I was a proud member of the Fox Kids Casa Fox 2 Kids Club.
Oh yeah,
up in Albuquerque. Yeah.
Did you get any like pizza or anything?
You know what I did get was Casa Fox 2 had a
herpes.
Yeah, herpes. The HIV. It was like 94, 95, but they did this talent show.
Okay.
Where like you literally had to get like through like several rounds to get in.
Okay.
And I was in the finals of the Casa Fox 2 Kids talent show.
What was your talent?
Stand-up comedy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you remember any of your bits?
I know the entire bit fully, 100%. It was not my bit.
It was some.
I stole a bit.
I did Carlos Mencia's bit from.
No, there was a comedian growing up that I loved named Mike Warnke. And he was a Christian comedian.
Okay, so
and
at least kept it clean.
So that's how I learned. It was like
I don't know if you were up there.
Tape.
I don't know if you were up there doing Eddie Murphy.
No, it's a whole bit about.
Gee, I just was swimming through the water.
Airplanes, basically.
Okay,
it's a whole thing about how you're in a giant metal tube with wings on it under the command of a guy named Bob. And then it goes on from there. So
that's also part of a Carlin bit too. He's got a whole bit on airplanes too. His has a less Christian take on it though. All right, everybody get on the plane. Blank you, I'm getting in the plane. Let Evel Knievel get on the plane. Yeah, it was a Carlin bit. So
that's a good comedian trope. When you're in doubt, just go for airplanes or airports.
That's right. Well, in all fairness, how old are you?
41?
No. I mean, when you were submitting to the Casa Kids.
Like 13.
Yeah, you can rip off, guys.
Yeah,
Okay.
No, that's what I figured is I can get away with it because I'm a kid.
Right.
The talent for me was learning the bit verbatim.
Exactly. Memorization skills.
Yeah, 100%. That's a talent.
Good, Sean. Good.
Justified. Oh no, I'm aware most of my childhood was a sham. It's admitting it that's the first step. Then you can work on it from there.
We got to wrap up here, but there's hunters here patiently waiting while we're going through this. But I changing subjects a little bit. I heard like someone was talking smack about someone. And it was the weirdest thing flex I've ever heard.
Get you fired these days.
I don't think this one will get me fired.
Okay.
It was so out of left field that it made me laugh hard.
All right.
Like he was basically, it's one of these YouTuber guy. He's a veteran that does a lot of veteran stuff, and he kind of mocks how veterans are and how we think. He's usually pretty funny. But anyway, he was doing one of the things, and he was talking about two guys were kind of getting in an argument, and he's playing both sides of the argument. Mm-hmm. And he literally, he's throwing things like, well, you're ugly, and you're this. And he literally said one of the things, you're easy to draw. And I don't know, that came out of such left field. That was the put down on, well, you're easy to draw. It sounds stupid, but it's deep.
I can see how it's a layered insult.
It is.
You have deep. Simple lines and curves that wouldn't be hard for an animator to recreate.
And now it's my new favorite cut down. I want an opportunity to say, you're easy to draw.
Because it cuts you off guard. You have no idea where.
I have no response.
Gaylord. Where do you go from there?
I have no response to that. So I desperately want to work that into some kind of conversation. You're easy to draw.
There's an argument, and I want to say it's like the first season of Family Guy where he's like, your eyes are too close to your nose. Yeah. And the guy's response was, well, that may be, but I only need one goggle to swim in my pool, sir.
So if you hear me work that in, that's what happens.
You're easy to draw.
It's right. The more you think about it, the more funny it is.
It's going to be working in the conversation at some point.
It is.
It's off. It's very. You know what? I'm gonna hear it too.
Well, that's just it. I was like sitting there and I was like, did he say you're easy to draw? I was literally like, oh, stop it. What did he just say? It hit me. So work it into your conversations on a daily basis.
Well, you have soft skin and lovely eyes.
That's right.
Wait, what?
Thank you for the compliment.
I mean, thanks.
Your toes are well manicured. All right. We should get going.
Yeah.
In case you can't tell there, Hunter Spindle with the District Attorney's Office. He's going to join us from the 5th Judicial District Attorneys. We're in for a monthly conversation. So Hunter and I will chit-chat here in just a bit. We'll also get you up to date with news of the local variety. May or may not get that Cowboys report in. Do you care? You really don't, do you?
No, nobody does.
No, as long as we talk about the Redskins.
There we go. Although they got me nervous this weekend. They're supposed to be good right now. What happened? So,
I'm just excited they announced they're going back to RFK.
Oh, I know. Yesterday they officially did it. Yesterday they were kind of locking it down, but the day started off a little tumultuous because the Commanders issued a statement earlier in the day, basically calling city council saying, what are you doing? Apparently they hit them with a bunch of caveats on the changes that they want to make, and they literally dropped this on them hours before the final vote, and the Commanders went public with it and said, D.C. City Council's doing us dirty right now. And then a couple hours later, a vote passed.
Vote passed, yeah.
So it was interesting.
I was just excited to see it.
It is. It's nice. And as a D.C. native,
me
you
too.
spent time there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. D.C. native myself.
Yeah, it is nice to see RFK with Redskins or Commanders or whatever they're going to, they're keeping the Commanders. But you can tell, though, and I'm sure you've seen it, like if you go and look at like the Commanders' marketing side now, you know how, like, if you ever go to an NFL game, if you've never been, each stadium, they do, like, their themes and things for the team, and they have their traditions and kind of digital displays and all that. Well, the Commanders, this offseason, they redid all theirs, and they've incorporated spears and this very tribal look to some of their imagery and all that. And so a lot of people are saying this is our slow walk to bringing us to closer to more of the Redskin imagery and Redskin lore, and away from Army or whatever they kind of.
Well, especially with the championship jerseys that they brought back too. Which
exactly.
Gorgeous.
This year for like 3 games, they're going to wear their Super Bowl era colors.
I'm like, why are these alternatives? Make them the standard.
Yeah, I'm kind of. I look at them too. I'm like, man, that just looks like a Redskins jersey.
Exactly.
That's how it should look, though. Although, if they do something like with that, and instead of the W, go to the more of the old spear helmet, which is kind of like, I feel like that's what they're leading us.
Yeah.
Like at some point, I think they're going to go back to that spear era helmet, and which I kind of always been a fan of that helmet.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Like, for instance, when the Redskins had their 75th anniversary, this was back, I think, in the 90s. Back when LeVar Arrington played for them.
I went to several games.
Yeah. And they had a 75th anniversary uniform, and to this day,
one of the best.
That's one of my favorite Redskins uniforms. I'm like, just go to those, man.
Well, and I had always said that. I'd be like, you can be the Commanders and still have
the imagery,
of Native Americans, and have all that. And don't get me wrong, I like the W. I think it's clean looking, but if we actually had, like, as a standard the spear helmet like it was back in the day, I'd love that.
And the logo itself, that's the one thing that's actually blessed sanctions, like the Indian head logo that they're synonymous with. That's all blessed. That was designed by Native Americans, incorporated,
it's just
endorsed.
The name.
Yeah, it's the only thing is the name, and so I don't know if you'll ever see that on the helmet again because it doesn't vibe with Commander. But I know for a fact if you go to Northwest Stadium right now, they have a whole display section that's kind of honoring the logo, honoring the chief, the chief that designed it, honoring the whole history behind that. And that's kind of the stuff y'all saw the senator, like if y'all remember about a year or two ago, the senator was in Congress basically saying the Redskins need to go back, and he was showing the logo. And all that.
Yeah.
That's a lot of that's kind of in that little museum thing that they had there. But they'll never go back to Redskins. The owner said it as much 100 times. They will not. They're running with the Commanders thing. But I think we will see some of the
imagery and stuff.
Some of the they want to keep the history and because and we got to stop because I know 3 people care about Washington's crap out there. But you get it because you're from the. If you grew up. And especially in that 80s when it was Riggins and Theismann and Joe Gibbs and that whole era of 80s and 90 and early 90s football, there was no bigger fan base in sports. I'm telling you right now. You talk about Seattle and the 12th man. Washington exceeded all. I mean, that stadium shook. You could not hear it. Physically shook RFK Stadium. Yeah. I've been in the stadium when it shook. When my dad worked there and stuff, I've been in there, and when that place got loud, it got loud. And that's what they want to bring back. Yeah. And this is why everyone's so nostalgic about the RFK thing, because that's what we think of. We think of those days where the Hogs and there's a sea of just burgundy and gold and people yelling, "We want Dallas." That's Washington fan.
If your dad worked there, then you worked with my grandfather. Yeah, because my grandfather worked there for years.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. My dad was a usher, and
so was my grandfather.
He literally did it just to see Redskin games and all that. Yeah, he did it in the 80s, 90s there. He did it for about 10, 12 years, and then he finally... I know he got to go to a Rolling Stones concert that they did at RFK, or at RFK. It was at RFK. Or was that FedEx? Did he go? Because he worked at both. He worked at RFK and at FedEx, so he was there for when they flipped to the new stadium. And
my grandfather stopped right when they flipped, but he got tickets to the new stadium, and that was the first time I ever went to what at the time was Jack Kent Cooke Stadium.
Yes. For a brief minute, FedEx Field was because Jack Kent Cooke built that stadium, and he died literally towards the end of the construction.
Yeah, it hadn't been done yet.
It was just almost done.
Yeah.
And
I was like 5 or 6 at the time.
At the time, his whole goal was to be the biggest NFL stadium, and he built that thing was close to 100,000 when it initially opened. They've scaled it back. It only holds about 78 or something like that now, but at the time, you could crowbar like 99,099 or something. Now, granted, that created a bad environment in that stadium. Yeah. Like, it's not a good place to watch a game.
I hate that stadium.
And then over the 20 years, it's been with Dan Snyder, and that's when you start seeing the footage of sewage spewing and all the other nonsense. Now, the stadium's in much better shape. They've invested gazillions of dollars in it. But the end game is this stadium in RFK, and it's going to be an indoor stadium, which that's already kind of turned some people a little bit because Redskins play in the grass. That's what we do. We play outdoors and in the grass. But
they want to host a Super Bowl.
Exactly. So we're going to have to get used to that change. And people are embracing it, but there's old heads that are kind of like, nah.
Super Bowl, concerts, other events, that sort of thing.
And to be honest, I tell them, in this day and age, they do natural grass indoor stadiums all the time. Look at Arizona. Look at Miami. I mean, that's not indoors, but they literally grow the field somewhere else and bring it in.
Well, and with the window concept that they're doing, they'll get plenty of sunlight in order to do that. They just have to water it.
They just have to water it, and it'll actually be easier because y'all ever seen the grass at RFK Stadium in November, December? It looks like dog crap. Oh, yeah. So anyway, Hunter Spindle going to join us. Let's do this. Let's do weather and a quick commercial break, and then we'll talk DA stuff with Hunter. And I'm sure he'd rather talk Redskins. I kind of would too, but none of y'all would care about that. So let's do this. Weather, quick break, and then we'll join Hunter Spindle. Will join us here on the other side. Don't go away.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Things look pretty good today. We do have a slight chance of an afternoon shower or thunderstorm. About 83 for the high in Roswell today. We'll be up around 90 in Carlsbad and 87 for Artesia. A shower possible this evening and then just cloudy overnight with low 60s. A slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm again on Friday, mid 80s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Hi everyone, this is Melanie from Glenn's Furniture. We now carry Mayo Furniture. Not only is it proudly built in the U.S., but there are hundreds of custom options to choose from, including fabrics, top-grade leathers, nail head, trim, and feet. The quality and construction stands apart from other brands in the industry, ensuring your satisfaction for years to come. Turn your living room into a reflection of your refined taste. Come see us at Glenn's on the corner of Union and Alameda in Roswell, where delivery is free since 1953.
Coach, what's the word over here?
Coach, can you talk about the latest trade rumors?
Absolutely. Right now, you can get big money for your trade at Roswell Ford.
Start your season with a win at Roswell Ford. Right now, we need trades. So if you're making payments on your current vehicle and run out early, Roswell Ford will do whatever it takes to help you escape from your trade. Even if you owe thousands more than it's worth, regardless of make, miles, or condition. With 0% APR and no payments for 90 days. Worried about your credit? Don't sweat it. Roswell Ford has partnered with more aggressive lenders who will push to approve your credit with great terms, with good credit, no credit, or even if your credit is less than perfect. All roads lead to huge American-made savings, more for your trade, and a better buying experience. Get on board at Roswell Ford, 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell. Call 575-623-3673 or online at roswellford.com. 0 APR for 48 months is $20.83 per thousand finance. Interest accrues from date of sale. Subject to lender approval on select vehicles. Offers not combined.
Wakefield Oil Company is a name you can rely on with full service at the pump the way it used to be. You can expect service in just 15 seconds. They offer bulk fuel and oil services and even diesel exhaust fluid. Wakefield Oil Company will deliver to farms, ranches, dairies, the oil fields, and more with dependable service you can count on. So the next time you need service or delivery, go with the name that locals have trusted since 1983. Wakefield Oil Company, 311 South Virginia in Roswell. Let them earn your business.
Over the last few months, there have been several tragedies in our country. Assassinations, school shootings, hateful speech, and unfortunately innocent lives taken, with those around often turning a blind eye to the violence. Are you tired, discouraged, or maybe even a little angry? Are you looking for answers but can't seem to find any? Do you want more than this life seems to offer? People attempt to deal with upheaval with a variety of distractions, from drugs and alcohol to working more to whatever can take their mind off the chaos. But is that the answer? In a letter to new Christians, the Apostle Paul gives them an answer. He writes that Christ is all and in all. In his letters, he explains that our Lord and Savior is the only answer to this fallen world. Nothing else can fill the void. Nothing else will give you the peace that you're craving. If you feel unsatisfied with this life, only Christ can fill that need. Come join us as we try to figure out how to navigate through these changing times.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. 1 in 3 snake bite victims is drunk. 1 in 5 is tattooed. Hold my beer and check this out. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 9:30, and now officially joining us in studio this morning from the 5th Judicial District Attorney's Office here. I guess lead deputy? Chief Deputy District Attorney. There's the title. Yep. I know he's the top one. I just don't know the official thing. But Hunter Spindle back with us here. Good morning, Hunter.
Good morning. Thanks for having me again.
So anytime. So how's life at the DA's office? I know it's always busy. It's always going on. But you and I were kind of talking at the beginning, and it just seems like lately there's been a lot of in the news, in the spotlight, a lot of shootings and a lot of things. So and of course all that comes through your office. You know, there's stuff like that going on in Roswell. Your office is seeing it in one way, shape, or form here.
Oh yeah, it's been a busy month. I'll say it that way.
Absolutely.
I mean, we had 4 homicides all year, and then all of a sudden we had 4 in 3-week span.
Sure.
So needless to say, Hunter Spindle had some late nights. I was getting calls and going out to homicide scenes late at night.
Yeah.
So this is part of my job. That's what I do.
And that's why I was kind of curious. Like, do you guys get involved because you know what, and this is kind of Jew is making the sausage kind of thing. You know, we watch enough TV and stuff, and you know, we all see a crime scene on TV or at a movie, and you see all the crime scene tape, and there's a bunch of cops around collecting evidence and things, and detectives. But do district attorneys actually, you know, we got the call right now, you guys see it fresh too, as much as the detectives and then the actual data evidence collecting people?
Is it required of me? No.
No. Okay.
But since I'm the person primarily who prosecutes homicides,
it makes complete sense to me.
I like having boots on the ground.
Gotcha.
And I'm that so half the time, especially if it's late at night, I'm that dude that people are staring at because I'm showing up in sweatpants and a t-shirt,
right?
Walking through a crime scene.
You're busy doing family stuff an hour ago. Yeah.
And people are like, "Who is this jackwagon walking through? Acting like he owns the place." Yeah. And people are just coming in, waving, having me, come in. But I like having boots on the ground.
Gotcha.
And so typically, even if I can't go for whatever reason, so if I get a call, because anytime a homicide happens,
sure,
how it's supposed to work is I'm supposed to get the call.
Mm-hmm.
And, most of the time, law enforcement's really good about it. They call me directly. They call my work cell phone and say, hey, we have a homicide. And RPD specifically as a homicide detective, so I know if he's calling me late at night.
You're pretty much.
I'm clued in. I already know it's a homicide.
You've got enough detective skills to put those two together.
I'm like, all right, who died and where?
That's right.
And what is it? And so then I'll typically go out. No matter what time of night it is, whether it's 2, 3 a.m., whatever. Get dressed and drive up, and then I'll go and have them walk me through the crime scene
and kind of give you everything they know so far.
Exactly.
Kind of thing,
And so that's because, I want to have that intimate knowledge and see it with my own eyes. So I'm not trying to piece the pieces of the puzzle together.
I imagine you get a box full of pictures or whatever it is, a jump drive at this point in our digital age here. But yeah, you know what I mean? And yes, and you can kind of get some perspective. But like you said, you can't see the room. You can't see, okay, now this picture, would it have been here or here? Yeah. And how does that relate in terms of where coming? And so when you're there that night and you're saying, okay, I'm seeing the tape, I'm seeing the trail, that makes sense to me now. It makes sense.
And for me personally, I try to know all my cases pretty thoroughly, at the very beginning, not just like up to trial. I mean, like from the very get-go. And it really helps me put my, that defendant's name to what is happening or the victim's name to what happened. And if I can see it and go and walk it and be like, all right, I don't have to try to fit those pieces, like you said, looking at pictures, seeing like the structure of a house. I don't have to have the detective say, or
explain the logistics to me. Yeah,
draw me the house. So I know how this happened. We had a shooting back not too long ago, and I walked the house, and it was very evident of what happened, and and I'm like looking through it, but it's because there was so much of the shooting happening in multiple parts of the house. It would have been really hard to understand how things happened unless I was actually in there.
Makes sense.
And I could see it all because you could see the trajectory of the rounds, rounds going which.
Someone just explained you the story. There seems like a lot of holes, but then you see the actual environment. Like, okay, that's why it was done that way.
That's why.
Makes sense.
That's why this body is over here, like this way. That's why this person was over there.
And so when the defense tries to shoot that into a hole, you're like, well, it's because of this and that. And
exactly.
So that argument doesn't hold water.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I like going personally, and if I can't go, I'll try to see if I can have one of my other attorneys go. And if not having another attorney, I'll at least try to have one of our investigators go.
Sure.
And we have 3 investigators in our district,
Gotcha.
one in each office that are all law enforcement.
Gotcha.
And so we'll have one go a lot of times, or at least be involved with it.
Sure.
So
and that probably serves as your kind of Sherpa a little bit. So yeah, obviously but somebody maybe the younger attorneys who don't have as much experience on crime scenes and things aren't looking for the same things that, say, someone who's been to a few of these look for. And that's where these investigators, former law enforcement generally, come in and say, okay, this is what you should be looking for. This is what you're missing. They don't teach you everything in law school, folks.
No. And
you learn from experience, and that
exactly
obviously at some point you probably walked in one of the scenes and didn't know your head from a hole in the ground, and one of these guys probably kind of walked you through it a little bit.
Well, probably my first 2 or 3 that I went to. I'd prosecuted and I'd even defended homicides and stuff. So I knew generally what I need to look for because of prosecuting and doing that.
Sure.
But when you get to that first crime scene, I felt a little bit like a fish out of water, feeling like kind of I'm like, what am I doing here? I'm like, I'm not a detective. Why?
Right.
But as soon as you go in and they walk you through everything, I was like, okay, I'm seeing that. Now I go in and I'm just immediately cluing in to things immediately and looking around. And
I'm going to guess, too, and tell me if I'm wrong on this, but like when the detectives and the law enforcement, they're doing their investigation, the people that are doing it, they're close in, and they're only investigating their little section, whereas you are seeing big picture. So this person could basically go, okay, well, I've been fooling with the blood the whole time. The blood's telling me this. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they don't see this part because I'm seeing. And so then is it like that where it's, because the blood people are experts at blood. Let them do their blood stuff while you got people that are more good at more good, but I'm good at English people. But you know what I mean? They're better at other things. And so I would imagine that's kind of, is it work a little like that at a scene where you're doing your thing, but not necessarily seeing the big picture of the scene sometimes? Sometimes.
Yeah. Our homicide detectives specifically, and really our detectives, our SID for RPD, they all work hand in hand. The homicide detective here has a really good working knowledge. I mean, he comes in and on most homicides unless he's like out of town, he's the one he's always on call. He's the one who immediately goes in and takes over and has telling other detectives,
delegates who goes where to what to when and secure this and that.
Exactly. But he has a really good eye for looking at everything, so he can see stuff sometimes and think about stuff that other people may not. And he'll be like, I need you to do this. At a crime scene, a lot of times you have the initiating officers who get there, and then they're the ones who say, hey, this is a homicide, or we need homicide detectives or whatever. And then you'll have detectives come in, and they may be focused on trying to, search the scene for casings, right? Or, looking for a weapon, or maybe you have someone sitting over there with the victim, talking to the victim and interviewing and what have you. And then you normally have someone who's writing search warrants and getting all of that
lining up the next leg of the thing. It's like, okay, based on the reports we're getting, we need to go talk to this person, or we need to go back. And
so
that's
we can get TSU, which is like our CSI unit.
And they're
here.
getting ready to probably wake up a judge to say, hey, we need a search warrant for this residence because we believe this. And then they... And generally speaking, the judges, that's pretty standard too, because I imagine it's, they fill out the thing. As long as the warrant checks all the boxes in the judge's mind, they're going to sign it. And but as this is the law. Police just can't go rolling up in your places like this unless a judge says there's a legal need for it to be there.
Right.
And so they got to get those permissions to do that.
Yeah, and that's, yesterday was Constitution Day. That's their, constitutional right to not have an unreasonable search and seizure.
Absolutely.
So you got to have probable
cause. This is all good stuff, people. This is but yes, and so when you hear of wanting to be judged and stuff, they do get woken up at 2 a.m. from time to go
all the time
to go sign a warrant or to execute some pressing legal and by nature, murder cases are always like this because y'all have seen enough A&E documentaries and things to know that there's a whole series called 48 Hours. If a murder trial isn't solved within 48 hours, it gets really hard to solve it because the evidence gets very cold very quickly after that. So
and luckily for most of our cases this year and really last year, we've had we knew who the suspect was that did it, who would be the defendant. Within, almost immediately,
right?
And if we didn't, it was within a couple hours because checking security camera footage or traffic cams, whatever,
and
pulling all of that.
And I'm and again, this is real life versus Hollywood, because we're so conditioned to watch, these documentaries or these various. Law and Order.
Yeah, we call it the Law and Order effect, CSI effect.
Yeah, all these shows, and they wrap up cases in an hour and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, those are all interesting cases with let's say criminals that are a little more cunning, a little more intelligent. I'm going to say the average murder case for you guys is not all that that CSI did. I mean, yes, there's evidence to be gathered and things, but it's not a big mystery on a lot. A lot of times you've got a very good idea of 1 to 2 or a group of people that you know exactly where this came from. It's not like, who could this be? I don't know. Where's the evidence lead? And next thing you know, they're knocking down some taxi here. And, like a TV show would, where you follow the trail up. It's not that sexy, or it's not that. A lot of times you could be, look, the guy left his wallet here, or you know what? There's fingerprints right here. There's a big handprint right here. We can analyze that and know real quick. If this guy's got a file, which let's face it, people that are usually involved in these kind of things have a criminal record
typically
already.
Do.
And so that stuff comes. And so to be honest, whatever long it takes for the evidence to be processed, they know pretty much what we're dealing with from the jump there.
Yeah, typically for the vast majority of homicides, they're not the smartest. We do get some smart individuals who, are contemplating, thinking about how they can hide their
those are the ones that get
evidence.
on Dateline, and they did this whole planning thing and this whole, and they tried to cover it up. Most people aren't that creative.
No. And they're, I don't want to say people are, generally dumb, because that's not, but they're not most criminals are not your brightest.
I'm going to say 9 times out of 10, these are emotional moments, not calculated, planned moments.
A good chunk of it. And of course, deliberate and intentional, which is like what we'd have to charge for first-degree murder. That can happen on a quick, sudden minute, too. By case law and everything, it doesn't have to be some long-out process.
Yeah, exactly.
It can be, it's harder to prove that way, but it's...
But in theory, if you had an argument with someone and said, I'm coming back with my gun, and then you come back with a gun, that's about all the evidence you need to say that's a murder one rap. You deliberately did things to put this in motion. It wasn't just like you already had the gun and y'all start fighting and pull it out and shot him. That's where it's harder to make the case. But if you literally say, I'm going to get my gun, and then go leave and get it, then
that's one of the things like I really enjoy about my job and going to scenes. And a lot of times what will happen, especially if they have a suspect in custody almost immediately, I really like listening to the statements by that person or by an eyewitness or whatever, so I can hear it and be like, all right, this is what, immediately my mind is thinking, going through what I've seen, what I'm hearing.
Right.
And so I can start spitballing with the detectives. And, a lot of times when I'm there, what's nice is they'll be like, I have a search warrant. I'll review that search warrant for probable cause. I'll be like, yep, this search warrant's good. Let's send it to a judge.
Right.
And then when they're like, all right, what are you thinking about charges? And immediately I'm going, well, it sounds like second degree.
Sure.
And they're going to be like, well, why can't we do first degree? And we start talking it through, and maybe they'll convince me of first degree murder.
Let's powwow out. But I'm
other
thinking,
times I'm
based on evidence, this is where I'm at.
Yeah.
If you can convince me otherwise, and let's have that debate.
Yeah. And sometimes it's like, all right, well, there's going to be an argument here, which defense counsel is obviously going to have for voluntary manslaughter, self-defense. And, so I get to spitball that with the detectives, and it's like, all right, how are we going to combat that? Well, we can combat it this way. So obviously if we do that, then we got second degree murder. I know you want first degree. Tell me why you think first degree.
Right.
And it'll be like, well, this and this and this. I'm like, and sometimes it'll be like, yeah, you're right. I think we got enough.
Sure.
We may not stick on first degree
but there's enough
trial,
evidence
but there's
to fight
enough evidence
to at least make
to charge it at that. Yeah. And be like, or if it's just too weak, and I'm just be like, look, I get it, but it's really weak.
Sure.
And I think we're much better. I don't want to overcharge. The one thing I always want, where I'm trying to be very careful of, is not overcharging people.
Absolutely.
Right? Because if it's one of those things that's like, yeah, I know I can get it past probable cause at a preliminary hearing or whatever on first degree, is that how I want to do it?
Sure.
Because if I'm really focused on, I want to make sure it's not just probable cause for that.
Sure.
I want to be able to put it up to a trial, to a jury, and be like, this is first degree murder.
Sure.
And not have that. Well, maybe I should have done it as second degree because I'm not going to get there.
I'm curious because, you were talking about this. When it comes to those decisions too, does history come into play as far as the accused? Whereas, okay, like I know judges and things, if it's a first-time person, they're not always in your system, they'll tend to give those types of people, even for more severe stuff. But when they're constantly in front of the same judges, the same district attorneys all the time.
We have frequent flyers that we know about. Yeah.
So does that come into play sometimes too? It's like, look, now they do the big thing where it's maybe murder one, and you're kind of like, all right, the evidence is on the fence here, but this guy's going to be back at some point or another. Let's throw the hammer now. Let's charge as much we can so we can keep him off the street. Is that a logic thing, or is that where it gets into constitutional problems?
There's a little bit of a gray area there. Yeah. I mean, it does come into play, right?
Yeah.
But constitutionally and all of that, I'm always very cognizant of the defendant's rights as well as the victims.
Sure.
But I'm like I said, I never want to overcharge. Now, if someone has a long history or someone's been violent, that tends to make me think this is more first degree, willful and deliberate. That level of intent may be higher.
Gotcha.
And looking at the past history. So I may be more willing to go with the first degree, seeking seeking that because I can use his past history with a pretrial detention motion.
Can you use that as a legal argument saying clearly the punishments we've been given in the past are not rehabilitating this person? We need to drop the hammer, and that can be a legal argument for you. Yes.
For holding them in pretrial detention. Gotcha. It's not going to go for to the charges per se.
Gotcha.
But it may be that me and Diana Luce, the district attorney, and other attorneys may look at it, and as well as the police, law enforcement, may look at it through the lens of, no, this guy deliberately committed this murder.
Right.
And while the evidence maybe is just over that legal, the probable cause on it, it maybe make me more willing to sign off on it that way.
Sure.
And so it'd be like, let's keep digging and make this part of it stronger.
Sure.
Now, if it gets to the point where it's like, by the time we get to trial, I'm like, we still haven't gotten there, then, that may mean I have to do a better plea. I may have to make a plea offer to a second.
Sure.
But even sometimes if it's right on the fence, I'll be like, nope, it's a first degree. We're going to go to trial on first degree. And if I don't win, I don't win, and go about it that way.
So I'm also curious too, because and this is separate TV court versus actual strategy and how lawyers do this. Is a lot of times I'll hear things in these shows, your Lincoln Lawyer types, and these they're all fun shows, by the way. But they're complete horse hockey on a lot of the legal side. But anyway, a tactic they'll do. It's like, look, I know I legally can't present this as evidence. But if I'm making a mention here and I know the attorney's going to shoot it down, but I want the jury to hear this. I mean, is that a common? And what I'm trying to get at on some of that is say like, well, the history
they know it's
here,
going to be objected to.
Yeah, and you're like, well, this guy's clearly been arrested 57 times, and then I object. That's irrelevant or whatever. But you want to say it just so the jury hears that this guy's got a history. I mean, is that a legit tactic in some of the where it's not?
You can't do it.
Okay, that's what I was curious about that because the way I was hearing the way we're talking in charge, and I was like, well, I wonder if that gets into that world a little bit where you just threaten or use it in court, not necessarily because you're trying. It's not going to stick, but you want to cement the lesser thing in the mind of the jury.
So that would be first off grounds for a mistrial.
Gotcha. See, this is where I'm kind of like that feels like a common tactic in every single of these types of cases.
That's made for television, not for actuality and what happens in jury trials. If I give a notice of like prior bad acts and that sort of stuff, I have to. So in New Mexico specifically, I'll just say it that way. I have to file what's called a 403B notice.
Okay.
And 404B. apologize. 404B.
No one's going to check you.
Yeah, I know. Which is crime, crimes, prior bad acts, that sort of thing.
Right.
And in that notice, I have to lay out exactly how I'm going to use it and why. And defense has the right to basically fight against that, trying to keep me from being able to do that.
Okay.
And then it's up to the judge saying, yes, this is not overly prejudicial.
Gotcha.
If I just blurt it out or ask a question about it, or if defense brings it up, which they never would unless there's specifically some reason.
Gotcha.
But if I just ask a question about it, it's grounds for a mistrial.
Okay.
And then after that, because I created the ground for the mistrial by asking a question I'm not allowed to ask, because it's deemed by case law, by statute, that sort of stuff, to
Makes
be
sense.
overly prejudicial and not have probative value. That's the term of art. Because I caused that, I may not be able to retry the case.
Because you've tainted it too much for
Right.
fair trial to be possible.
Correct. So now they could move in order to prevent me from being able to retry the case. It could also prevent the judge from finding what's called manifest necessity in order to allow me to retry the case. Basically saying that because I created the need for a mistrial, double jeopardy has attached. Now I can no longer retry the case.
Just in theory, you've tried already here.
Right. And then I could also be brought up on sanctions for ethics grounds. And that could which could make me lose my license or
Sure.
some sort of other sanction from the state bar.
Gotcha.
And so as attorneys, and while it makes for good television, I always have to be very cognizant of my legal license.
Sure.
And while maybe the public doesn't like sometimes actions we have to do,
sure,
we have to always, first and foremost, think about our own law license. Because I can't keep doing what I'm doing if my license is gone.
Exactly.
So, and I have to stick within the rules of ethics and within the rules of the Constitution. And that's something we have to think about every minute of every day.
Well, and this is also the burden that is the prosecution side of a court case here,
Right.
whereas at the end of the day, the defendant has more rights than the government does in these situations. And by design, and this is a good thing. I'm not trying to say this like it's a bad thing. And at the end of the day, if the defense screws up, there's recourse for the defendant to have a do-over, so to speak.
Right.
If the prosecution screws up,
done.
then it's done. Because
most of the time. Not always, but most of the time.
But because at that point, the prosecution doesn't have the luxury of being wrong. You have to be right or it's not happening.
Right.
And if you do anything, even if the person's guilty of sin, if you don't do it by the book, even if it's accidental, I mean, a lot of the times these aren't deliberate. These are just a mistake was made. Mm-hmm. And so that's why it's so important. And this is really why, what you guys do is so commendable and respectful, because you have, a defense attorney, they get all the fancy headlines and the golf courses and the big money and the high dollar and the attention. But the prosecutors are the ones that are actually the ones that fall on the swords, that have at the end of the day, have the overall responsibility of, like, a defense attorney can fly fast and loose and just, that's what they do.
Well, and we're always the bad guy to someone. Either we're the bad guy to the defendant's family, to the victim's family, but regardless of our actions. The only time we're ever praised is if we go to trial on a first-degree murder.
And you're representing
and
authority. And by default, that makes you bad in some people's life.
I did the Eastern New Mexico University Roswell yesterday asked me to be their keynote speaker for Constitution Day.
Oh, cool!
And so I was given a talk there yesterday for an hour. I did a lecture to college students, high school students, and some faculty and staff. And I walked through the amendments of the Constitution,
Mm-hmm.
and I told them that my job is a walk through constitutional amendments every day, every minute of the day. The Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, the Sixth, the Eighth, the 14th. Like, I have to go through that. Sometimes even looking at the First and the Second. You know, about was this person Mirandized correctly?
Sure.
Was this a
was it done by the book?
Was it done by the book?
Yeah.
Was the search unreasonable? Was it, did they need a warrant? Did they not need a warrant? Was everything done by the book?
Right.
Is this actually a crime because, this person had a firearm he's not supposed to?
Yeah.
But is he a felon under the law? Was that within 10 years?
Did someone act overzealous here?
Exactly.
Or, okay, he's here, but was the evidence obtained legally? Okay,
Right.
that's that's the thing. That's the stuff you weigh, and you guys don't have the luxury of working around that. So that's why I respect what you guys do so much. Is you don't and not get me wrong, attorneys and even defense attorneys are good ones. There's a lot of great ones, but at the end of the day, you guys are held under the fire way more than a defense attorney.
We have a much higher burden and a much higher rules of ethics in which that we have to adhere to.
Yeah.
Because for both public trust as well as constitutional rights and that
Absolutely.
sort of thing.
Which, by the way,
And because we swear an oath to it.
And if you guys didn't, the whole system comes down. So that's what it is. We're almost out of time, but I do want to mention this before we go. Don't forget the DA dog, the court dog facility. I'm going to get this
golf
right.
tournament?
Yeah, the golf tournament's coming up for the DA dogs.
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to say.
In October. I figured that's where you were going.
Yeah, I'm like split it up to 32. I'll get it out eventually. But yes, October 18th at the NMMI Golf Course. Come out and support the great DA Dog program. We've talked a bunch about the great work that really got started right here in the 5th Judicial District. So it'll be 9 a.m. shotgun start on October 18th. You can sign up your teams at the NMMI Golf Course. I believe there's still a few sponsorship opportunities. Call Gina direct. You can call Gina Yeager. She's the DA dog mom, and of course, the point of contact for the tournament.
Please sponsor us. We need more.
Please, yeah. T-Box, title sponsors, all of the above here. 575-626-2422. Again, that's Gina's number, 575-626-2422. Or call the NIMBY Pro Shop, 575-622-6033. Again, 622-6033. Or just come by the pro shop and you can sign your teams up. And of course, like all tournaments, if you have a 3-team, you can sign up as a team. Or if you don't have 2 other friends, just come on. He'll find you some.
They'll take you somewhere.
And of course, please, it's $100 per player, $300 per team. And if you leave hungry, it's your own fault because they're going to have breakfast, lunch, drinks, drawings, raffles, cash prizes. First place is $450, $300 for second, $225 for third place. But at the end of the day, this is all about raising as much money as possible. So, because to be honest, the